Oh my god. Oh, people are going to think that's fake or a lie or... Oh, God. How did I do that twice? How? How has that happened twice? Like 3 episodes? What? Oh. Oh. I'll tell you what happens. Alright. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. Oh, God. God. No, it's not even funny, though. It's not funny. It's actually really worrying. Okay, alright. Okay. Okay, so look, so in OBS, it's got like the start streaming thing, and on YouTube, you have to click a separate button after as well. You have to click the go live thing. And for some reason, I've gotten out of the habit of clicking the go live button really quickly. And I'll tell you what's happened, right? Because this happened a few videos ago. I've just been talking for half an hour relentlessly. Again. Oh my god. I'm not so upset this time, actually, because I was very waffly there. Anyway, what happens is I'm chatting away, I see chat in my peripheral vision, guys. I see you in my peripheral vision. I can see how much it's moving. And today, I kept talking, and I kept, like, I've got a lot to say. I've got so much to say. I've got a really nice jam-packed intro. This is going to be a brilliant video. You're all going to love it. But, like, in my peripheral vision, I could see chat wasn't moving very much. And so I was thinking, well, I'm not going to stop talking to go address chat and blah, blah, blah. If there's barely any messages, if people haven't made it here, blah, 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 blah. I was thinking I'll keep the flow going. And both times this has happened, that's what's happened. Like, because remember, I'm trying to hold a conversation, so I'm thinking about what I'm talking about and how I want to, you know, articulate what I want to say. So my mind is occupied, but there's a quiet voice in my mind that says, oh, chat's not really moving that much, so don't worry about taking a break and reading them. But what that's meant is twice now, I've just talked for half an hour without really looking over. And if I had at any point really looked over, I would have seen, oh shit, people are saying that I'm not live. Oh, it's okay though. It's honestly, it's all right. Because I was a little bit waffly. Okay, so let's restart all of that. So hello everyone, welcome. It's mid to late April. This is going to be a pretty cool episode. The last thing you saw me do was we did, what, 7, 8 episodes on Repentance LP. I've finished with Repentance now. That's mostly all done. And I've been wondering what I want to do for more Guild Wars content. Basically, Guild Wars is going on hold for a little bit. One, because there's no... My kind of rule thing at the moment with Guild Wars content is if Arenanet make content, I'll be here and I'll cover it. And if they're not really making content, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to cover other games. It's kind of what I've been doing for a while. So, the question is, what have they got to cover? Well, there was a Super Adventure Box update, and I do want to talk about that. I'm basically going to play some of that blind here today, but this is going to be a bit of a special episode, a bit of a special double-a-roo, because we're going to play a little bit of Guild Wars 1 as well. In fact, do you know what? Let's flip it this time. So, for the past half an hour, I've been talking about SAB and in SAB and doing SAB stuff. And now I'm just sort of thinking, do you know what? Screw it. Let's swap to the other game. First, I'll do it in the other order. That way it doesn't feel like I'm being really weird. So today's going to be a double episode. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Guild Wars 1 anniversary, and then we're going to talk about SAB. And specifically, what I'm also... Now, if you've been following me over in Discord, you'll know all about this. I'm going to be doing... I'm kicking up a new stream series as of tomorrow. And they're probably going to be pretty long episodes and pretty regular episodes. So just like we did with like PoE or like with the FFX stuff, so I'm spending a lot of time at the moment working on offline videos, like normal LPs, basically the replacement for Zeus. But I want to do a stream series as well. So the next stream series is going to be Oblivion, the Oblivion remaster. If you guys are interested in watching that, that's going to be coming out on the channel very, very soon. So I kind of want to do one more roundup video with Guild Wars, because there has been a reasonable amount going on with Guild Wars at the moment. Because, you know, it's the 20th anniversary for the first game, and there was an SAB update. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's swap games, I guess. And how best do I do that? Here we go. Hopefully Bishop doesn't interfere. I am a bit upset. I gave you guys so many anecdotes. It's unreal. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm not on Peter at the moment. This was my original main. So over in Guild Wars 1, I was very close to doing a mini-series on this. It's the 20th anniversary, if you guys don't know. If you're watching this in the future, you're out of the loop or whatever. The patch wasn't as big as I was hoping, to be honest. It was exciting in that they added some new mods, and the new mods are pretty cool. So it's been about 2 weeks now, and you know, a good amount of theory craft has happened. If you were following me during the Repentance episodes, you might still be a bit unsure of, you know, how things landed. I can tell you that the Necromancer suffix, the Soul Reaping one, and this would be pretty easy to predict, to be honest. In my original assessment of them all, I said, you know, this will be good energy management. It seems to be really good. It's the equivalent of another 2 pips of energy regeneration for anyone. So if you think about that in terms of like a warrior or a paragon, it's like giving them full-ass regular caster speed. Obviously, it is required. There is a requirement that things die. But basically, you know, heroes are famously bad with energy. If you can get a bunch of the Necromancer suffixes on your heroes, the teams are doing really well. There's way less pressure on bips. People are wondering if you can actually get rid of the battery roll altogether now. I mean, contingent on getting a lot of these items, but they are expensive. So, you know, I know for like my Mesmer build, I've got Ether Feast here and some weird stuff because I was doing solo stuff earlier. But I know for my Mesmer, I would absolutely love to have an of the Necromancer wand. I'm actually going to check. I think it's only the scythe that you get from this guy. So the new vendor guy gives you one of each attribute. Yeah, and the Soul Reaping one is a scythe, which is a bit of a shame. But you could put it on a high energy set as well. Like here, I don't really use... I use of memory on my high energy set, but it's bound to fast casting, and like I don't care about that. Having the energy storage one would be very cool, but also the Necromancer one, just so that, you know, when you swap to your high energy set, you lose pips, but I would keep those realistically. Oh, hold on, let me mute Guild Wars 2 at the moment because it's nattering away in my ear in the background right now. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of where it's landed, and people are doing very fun things. I just mentioned this in Discord. One of the cool things that you can kind of do is if you're an assassin now and you do the assassin dagger, the expertise daggers, you can basically just turbocharge the dagger spam setup, and you can swap jagged strike for like unsuspecting strike, which, as you guys know, is a massive nuke on the first hit on a target, essentially. And you could put like Serpent's Quickness on it from Ranger and just spam really fast and you're kind of fine. So there's a lot of cool new stuff going on with the weapons, but I've barely played with it, guys. I've barely touched the new weapons. Now, why is that? That's because I've been at 9 rings. I guess I'll just go there and show you. I vowed to never return, but I suppose I will. So I was done with Guild Wars 1 years ago. You know, I had Guam, yeah, over a decade ago or something. But there are account-based titles to progress to. Yeah, my party's too large, whatever. There are account-based titles you can progress, and a lot of them I left, like, when Guild Wars 2 came out, I left them in states of, like, half being finished. But over recent years, like I say, about a year ago, I was really, really into this game. I've just started progressing them, and 2 of them are absolute nightmares. It's called Lucky and Unlucky. They progress when you use lockpicks on chests, basically, but even that's a new addition to it. Basically, they're related to buying festival tickets during the boardwalk, which is only available for a couple of weeks every year, right? So the anniversary celebration where I'm standing right now, you can only come here every now and then. And the whole idea of this is you buy a few tickets. This is funny I'm talking about this because I don't think I've ever done a video talking about this. So I'm going to buy 30 tickets there, right? So I've got 30 tickets in my inventory. And the idea is... we can't hear Guild Wars 1. Did I mute it? No. I just didn't swap it to this. We still can't hear it. Did I mute it in Windows? Oh god, my output device is my TV. That's not right. I didn't mute it there either. I don't know. I think you guys can hear Guild Wars 1 though at the moment, so that's fine. Yeah, so you buy some tickets and then you play the 9 rings. Well, there's 9 rings and then there's 16 rings. Is this 16 rings? And basically, every 3, 2, 1... Well, we'll see it count down in a second. This is Rings of Fortune, so I guess I'll pick this one over here. Right? It costs a mere 2 festival tickets to play. Step right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your places. The game's about to begin. Step in a ring, stand in a ring to play. Oh, so it goes 3, 2, 1. And you see that ring there lit up with Milor Danger on it. That means he won. Everyone near him got a couple of tickets. See, that one won there. Nobody was standing on it. And everyone far away got none. You get knocked over if you're really far away. So there I got knocked over. So if you win, you get lucky. If you lose, you get unlucky. There are 2 titles for this, the lucky and the unlucky title. They end with the titles blessed by fate and cursed by fate. And to max them, the caps on these account-based titles are ludicrously high. It's like, I can't remember, I might be off with this. I think it's something like 3,000 hours AFK standing here. You know, so I don't have to do anything. You just stand here. You just have Guild Wars logged on. It's like playing an idle game, but with no mechanics at all. It's not even really gameplay. It's like you don't socialize in here because everyone's AFK. I mean, look at this right now. There are 12 districts filled in 2025 of players standing here. There's not a big community in Guild Wars 1. There was like the Steam database leaderboards came out last week, which is cool. Guild Wars got its all-time peak in years the other day on the Steam leaderboard, and it was like 900 people or something, right? Like, it's not many people, okay? And think about how many of those are in these districts, right? They're just standing here. And why are so many people doing this? Because it takes that long. It's like you can only do it for a little while at each festival, and then it goes away again. So best get your time in on AFKing these. Now, luckily, as I've said before, I got Treasure Hunter years ago before the Hall of Monuments calculator. I thought it meant I could take a unique thing into the sequel. So I put a lot of grind in. Because I did a Treasure Hunter, I was about halfway finished, which is its own insane grind. I was about halfway done with these titles anyway. So I sort of thought, all right, I'll go for it. So the 25th anniversary, sorry, the 20th anniversary, really exciting, right? We've got lots of things going on. Do I get my mini pets? Do I get a bunch of new weapon mods? Do I do Vitir farming or raptors just to have some fun? And get like birthday cupcake drops? Do I progress God walking amongst more mere mortals on another character? What do I do? Well, I felt like I kind of had to be here doing this because 95% of us don't use Steam for Guild Wars. That's true. That is true. That's true. I didn't mean to suggest that the entire audience was 900 people. Obviously, that's only a fraction. But regardless, a huge amount of people are here, right? This is a lot of players. And the point I'm making is it's such a long title that even 20 years later, people are still working on it. En masse, people are working on it. Including me. So, yeah, I kind of had this thing where it's like I could have played the game and I was close to spinning up a mini-series for you guys. I've had this thing where I've been saying... I don't want to redo LPs. I've had that rule. Don't redo a Let's Play because you're kind of just going in circles. But I have I broke that rule with FFX this Christmas, and it was very fun, and I'm very happy about that. By the way, did I mention to you guys that there's been a big patch to that, the Masters Challenge, and a bunch of it is feedback we offered, like with the anima fight. There's better scam text and stuff in it. Really cool. It's a huge patch. Anyone that watched the Masters Challenge, feel free to play it for yourselves now because there's a new version that looks even better. It looks so good and so new and so fresh, I kind of want to do it again. I won't, don't worry. I know people want me to do other things, don't worry. So yeah, don't do LPs over again, but I broke that rule with FFX, but I'm also very happy to break that rule with this game. My channel in some ways started with the Guild Wars 1 LP, but it's very old, it is old. The quality of the videos is shit, my voice is completely different, but also, more than that, I could do a new LP on this game, focusing on entirely different types of commentary. Like hero management and more meta, min-maxy, nerdy, geeky stuff, which usually I don't really care about too much, but last year when I got into this, I got really into it, and I felt like I had a lot to offer, and we could talk about a lot of different things. So rather than it being story-focused, rather than being Iron Man and challenges and stuff like that, rather than me playing around with multiple characters at once, because I did a lot of fun things, I think, in that LP. Instead of all of that, I'd take a very different focus with it. I think I could do another LP. And so the 20th anniversary came out, and I was seriously thinking... So they've added some quests, right, to get these new minis, and that they basically just tell you, hey, replay everything, just go do a book. So right here, I have Shiro's Return Hard Mode. They tell you just do all the story missions again. And that's fine for the anniversary. I mean, that's on brand. That's what they did. They asked of you effectively at the decade anniversary and so on with the Proofs of Legend and stuff. So, but it's like, okay, do Shiro's return, so replay factions. And then there's one for Young Heroes of Tyria. There's one for, we'll have a look at them in a second, for Prophecies for Eye of the North. So if I'm going to do that and get all the minis, I could do an LP. And I was really close to. I really was. I thought it'd be quite interesting. But this... Lucky and unlucky. So I chose to sit here AFK grinding the title instead. Is that stupid? You're more than welcome to tell me. I haven't been to this gate for so long and looked at those for so long. That's so cool. You're welcome to tell me it is. It was stupid. But I'm happy to say, as of about 5 hours ago now, this afternoon, I beat him. I beat him! Look at these titles! Oh! We got Savior of the Luxons at the top. I did that one last year. Cursed by Fate. 7 ranks. That's the really hard one. So you have to lose 500,000 games of chance. And you saw how slowly a single game gets played. And a bunch of those you win, so it won't increment either. It takes so long, guys. Like, I had that last 1,000 for, like, a day. You can progress maybe 6k a day, 6k a day in my estimation. I finished Golden just through the way that the chest hunting worked. The ratios put me slightly higher. So Blessed by Fate, I had this one done like yesterday, late in the evening yesterday, and I had this, and I got Unlucky just finished. So yeah, I've been in this weird thing where I've just had fucking Guild Wars 1 on, which has just been so awkward and weird because I'm scared of like overheating my PC or it logging me out or whatever. But I'm done with it now, and I do feel very good about that. So for what I have left on the account, there is Zaishin, which is effectively is shit tons of gold. Don't think I'll ever get that. That's basically get Zaishin keys, open the Zaishin chest for rares, and just keep doing it and doing it. But it's insane. There's also the Z rank. You get Z rank from it. This was like one of the last titles they added. I'm at rank 5. I don't think I'll ever go any higher than that. It's a bit of a weird one because I think for years there were bots in PvP in this game, like massively inflating Balthazar faction, which meant loads of keys were spawning. So keys were quite cheap. For years, I think this was very attainable for a lot of players because of the rampant bot activity. But ironically, last year, when SCW started working on this game in a big way, he did a big bot busting update, and I believe Z keys are quite pricey again now. I think, anyway. On the other hand, I've heard of someone that's on the Guild Wars 1 subreddit, like on day 1 of the anniversary, he bought a bunch of the new suffixes for like a stack of Z keys each. He bought like 6 suffixes of Soul Reaping of the Necromancer for like a stack of Z keys each. So clearly some people still do have a lot of them, and he didn't really seem to give a shit about. So I don't know. This I doubt I'll ever do. And speaking about it dropping rares, you get Oracle of Wisdom as well. So I'm nearly at 8,000 out of 10,000. I know that bar only looks half full, but I'm actually over 75% of the way done with that. It's only half full for the last tier. So this actually isn't too bad, but lifetime, the whole time playing Guild Wars 1, I've only got 8k identified, and I need another 2k. So I don't know. I might do this. This one's a maybe. It's possible. Battle Commander is retired. That was the Hero Battles thing. See, they could have brought that back for this celebration. I don't know. I think there's a lot they could have done this celebration, and they didn't. I'm happy that we got stuff, but I feel like the only reason I'm happy is that the bar's really low, but there's so much that could be done. I don't know. Maybe all they need to do is clear the low bar at the end of the day. They are a business, not a... So anyway, then there's Kurzix. Kurzix is really low. So I could do Kurzik. I think if I do another title, it will be Kurzik. Kurzik is a billion times easier and more attainable than like Treasure Hunter or Lucky Unlucky. And I've already done Luxon, so I sort of know how difficult it is. The thing with this is so much easier when you do it on a double week bonus. And I had this problem last year as well, where it's like I wanted to do it, but it wasn't a double week, and it just feels like a waste of time. Like, do you want to do the title once, or do you want to do the title twice? Because if you do it off of a double week bonus, you're essentially doing double the work. You're doing it twice. So what's the point in putting double effort in? Do you know what I mean? But it means that I'm kind of in this weird thing where I need my enthusiasm for Guild Wars 1 to line up with their special events, and it doesn't always. You know, I'll put this game away for like years at a time. And then Gladiator is PvP. No way I'm doing that. It's full of bots or absolute psychos that need to move on. Okay, if you're still playing random arenas at this point. The Gamer, that's like Snowball Fights and Dragon Ball. You know, the Guild Wars 2's equivalent would be shit like Bell Choir, stuff like that. Again, it's just too long to progress. The other thing is Hero. I actually spent so much time in Hero's Ascent, but my title's really low. It might be because I played a lot of it on a previous account, or maybe the title wasn't out, or it was just because I was pugging and we very rarely got out of the first 2 rounds, and I don't think you got fame until the 3rd round or something. I don't know. Mine's shit. I kind of like the idea not of maxing Hero out, but at least pushing it high enough that I can dedicate it at the Hall of Monuments and rep it. So I might do that. So basically, Kurzix, I'll probably finish. Wisdom, and I'll get rares while I do that, which will go towards Wisdom, and then I'll probably do Wisdom. You can do Wisdom purely through barter in Kamadan. You buy unidentifieds from people, you identify them, salvage off the expensive and good stuff, like these new suffixes, and sell them to fuel the purchase of more rares. It's basically a barter simulator. It's not really playing the game, but you can do it that way, and I was doing a bit of that last year, and that was fun. So yeah, Wisdom and Kurzix. That's it. The other ones, they're just a no-go. Impossible, insane, and I missed the boat. Highly unattained. Like the Gladiator one, right? I was very proud of getting Deadly Gladiator back in the day. It's like, would I grind Gladiator in this game, or would I just grind World vs. World in Guild Wars 2 for AP? Because there's so much AP I can get from World vs. World. I'd much rather grind World vs. World in Guild Wars 2. What's the benefit of getting all these bonus titles? There isn't one, really. If they ever added a Super Gram, I'd get Super Gram, you know, because you're over the threshold by another 5 or indeed another 10. It also gives you a cool title for your pre-searing characters, because you can get, like, kind of a big deal in pre-searing. I don't know. It's just because there's nothing else to do in the game. And sometimes I'm like, I really want to play this, you know. And it's amazing. I really do want to play more of this. And it's funny, the whole Oblivion remaster's going on. And if you guys aren't following me on Blue Sky, I do post on there. I'm doing all right with that, actually. I've been semi-regularly doing it, and I haven't dropped it for too long. I put a tweet out the other day. I basically said, just a thought, but you guys know how the Oblivion remaster works. It is, bit for bit, the exact same ESM file, unlike the engine underneath is exactly the same as actual real normal Oblivion. What they've done is they've integrated it with another engine. They use Unreal Engine 5 to render the visuals and give you the lighting and the shadows and all that stuff, and handle the assets. But it's still Oblivion's engine underneath. It's Gamebryo and it's Unreal Engine working in tandem. And that's pretty fascinating to me. I didn't know such a thing was possible. But that's what they've done, and it made me think, what about Guild Wars then? Could you stitch Unreal, an Unreal Engine rendering pipeline on top of a largely unchanged GW1 for some kind of a re-release? And stagger the launch of the campaigns so that people play through it? That would be fucking sick, wouldn't it? I basically said, and I think that's really silly, right? Because they're different studios, different products, different talent, different budgets, different scopes. It's very stupid as a silly little nerdy gamer to say, oh, this was possible, so surely this is possible. But I do like the idea. I like the idea of a Guild Wars 1 remaster. And it's funny that they sort of demonstrated, hey, because it is still Oblivion. Like, people have learned over the past few days that you can port Oblivion mods from Old Oblivion, I guess we call it Old Oblivion now, to the new game, and it works. They didn't add a proper like API or like interface for it, but it works. You just have to like edit a text file basically, and boom, you're in. Telling it what load order to use and where the ESPs are. But I think that's incredible, isn't it? I mean, they have made some changes as well. You know, there's like a new dodge move and stuff. Oh man, don't get me ranting about Oblivion too much. But yeah, there you go. So that's the boardwalk. That's why I haven't really done a mini-series. So yeah, now that I've done Lucky and Unlucky, like I said, I only finished this a couple of hours ago. Now that I've done it, I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I could do that series. Maybe we could do the little run-through. But the thing is, Oblivion's out. And so if you got... Oh, shit. See, I don't know what I've said. Have I said this already? Or was it in the original half an hour that is now in the bin? Oh, shit. I'm doing Oblivion. Have I said that? I'm doing it. I'm doing a stream series on Oblivion. It's starting tomorrow. The episodes are going to be very long. It's going to be brilliant. And because I want to do that, and that was not really a plan of mine, by the way. I have other plans. I've got, the next stream series I was actually going to do, I'm going to admit it was going to be Heaven's Ward, and it is getting pushed back because of this. All right, I admit it. I'm sorry to the Final Fantasy 14 fans. But, so, because of that, I'm not doing this as well, basically. So I was going to sort of do a run-through and show you guys as we earn the minis. It's not going to happen. What I will do, though, is show you me collecting a single one of them. So here we go. So I'll show you the quests, okay? You head over to Embark Beach. And like I say, I've already got my my book, my Master Hand Guide. Oh, also, I'm in the Spud Guild now. Because I'm going to be working on Kurzik, and my real guild, my real home, my real friends as far as Guild Wars 1's concerned. I never want to leave that guild. I'll probably go back to it at some point. They're Luxon, so I can't do like the double bonus for very long. You can get a few skills, and that's about it. So I needed a Kurzik alliance, and years ago I never made this. It's just like the Guild Wars 2 Spud Club. I never made the Spud Club. Other people do, and then I sort of ended up joining. So here I'm just a lowly member. I should probably be an officer now that I think about it, so I can invite people. But there is. I didn't even realize there was a Guild Wars 1 Spud Club, and it's years old, by the way. It's years and years and years old. If you guys want to join it, drop a message in the channel, and you totally can. But yeah, so I'm with the Spud Club now, and I'll be doing that for Kurzik before I forget that. Yeah. So anyway, the anniversary. Basically, we come over here. You've got Sworn to Seas, Maurice Sworn to Seas. And, did I read this on stream? I think I might have at some point. Ever since the Asura came to the surface, their gates have been in high demand for those seeking to travel. I won't deny the allure of instantaneous travel, but I feel sorry for future generations. Can you imagine never experiencing the sting of the salt air, the feeling of the wind coursing through your hair? Part of the joy of any journey is getting there. I think that's why I can feel so at ease here. The spirit, the excitement of new beginnings is everywhere. That's actually old dialogue. I think Maurice has said that for years. It's like how if I click fill in Sworn to Winds, they get this intro. Anyway, so all these quests are new. So check it out. Miniature Companion. That's what the series is. And if I click, say, Prophecies, it says, your traveling companions are a unique part of any journey, wouldn't you say? Even something as small as a toy or a pet can bring memories alongside it. In exchange for a show of your heroism, I can offer a particularly rare toy to take with you. And see, we get the mini Gruul from Prophecies. Sounds difficult, but there's no road I can't walk. So, in a way, I'm disappointed the 20th anniversary didn't do more. In a way. But when I got to the point of actually reading these quests, I mean, they copy-pasted the dialogue. So you get 2025 experience, the year, and you get 2006 gold, the year of the game's launch, right? Wait, how is that the 20th anniversary then? Surely it should be 2005. Whatever, anyway, you get the broken toy from Nightfall. So yeah, when I actually got to reading the quest, so it does feel like, a little something there. They clearly sat down and had a meeting, what mini gets assigned to what. This one is saying, what is this one? So young heroes, you get the mini pig. The pig is special, if you guys don't know. I mean, this is funny to me. I'll give you an anecdote about this franchise's history, and I'll say it feels like yesterday to me. I'll give you an anecdote now that does not feel like yesterday to me. An anecdote that feels old as fuck. The very first, what is it, the Dragon Festival or Cantha New Year? They gave you a mini pig, and it was really easy to get. I remember doing this. I don't remember it that clearly because, as I say, it was a long time ago. But I remember getting the pig. I think you got loads of pigs. They were fucking everywhere. And it was like delete fodder. Nobody wanted to keep these pigs. But then what happened was the next year, it was a different celestial animal. And you couldn't get the pig anymore. And people realized, oh shit, that was an exclusive thing. And then what also happened was, instead of just giving you the animal, they gave you a mini that's like starry. It was like golden and shiny and like spiritual, ethereal type version of the animal. So what they did was there were all these pigs from the year before, and then in the next year, if you still had a bunch of them, you could upgrade them. I think it was like 5. If you had like 5 pigs, you could trade those 5 pigs into the Celestial Pig. And of course, people wanted the Celestial Pig. But what that meant was the population of actual pigs, even though everyone originally had them, just got nuked. And pigs actually became a rare, weird, exclusive mini. And here it is. You can get the pig back. And I remember in subsequent years, very fast, the price of that thing rocketed up. And it just goes to show what it was like playing this game back then, and what the vibe was like. You know, our expectations of whether things would go away or how Arenanet would support their game in the years to come. You know, because that was all fertile ground. You know, the whole MMO scene in general was kind of still establishing at that point. And, you know, we don't have the answers to a lot of those questions because they just stopped making Guild Wars 1 quite quickly. But we kind of have those answers as far as Guild Wars 2 is concerned. We've got the Mini Asura. That was from Eye of the North, of course. That's a good little association. They make you do the Fissure of Woe for the Ceratodon. That one's weird because there aren't Ceratodons in the Fissure of Woe. But I guess it feels kind of a close-ish fit. The Underworld gives you a miniature Mad King's Guard. That's very cool. I didn't actually realize that was an exclusive or a rare one, was it? Sorrow's Furnace gives you the Yeti. Again, that's a bit weird because there's not actually Yeti there, but I get it. It's mountains. Urgo's Warren gives you the Island Guardian. Now, that's genius because there's a load of Island Guardians there. If you think about the last fight and stuff, even Urgo's design kind of just feels like a giant Island Guardian. Of course, the Deep is going to be Kanaxai. Brilliant. I'm actually a little bit nervous. When the 25th anniversary came out, I saw a lot of pugs, a lot of groups for these missions. And I played with some other people. What was I doing? When I was filling in this handbook, the Shiro's Return handbook, I did a couple of pugs because I just saw people in the outposts in the missions. And I did like one. I did Gyala Hatchery because Gyala Hatchery is awful. When you're speed booking this fucking thing, you either do the really risky front route where you have to path very carefully and very specifically, or you go the really slow way around the back. So I thought, hey, I'll play with other people for this one because it'll be less tedious. But after we did the hatchery, that we went off and we did like a bunch of them. We did some of the Kurzik ones as well. And then they said, oh, we're going to go do the Deep. And I saw like loads of posts, like because Toolbox will post whatever you want. And I thought, oh, that's cool. I can get these minis. But now it's like 2 weeks later, and I feel like that might have closed off now. People are doing it less. So I don't know. But you get Kanaxai from the Deep. You get Greased Lightning from the Domain of Anguish. And that's really clever, to be honest. Because the Domain of Anguish... Okay, the final boss for each region is not really relevant to this. Malix, it's not relevant. The Guardians of Kamali and the Foundry of Failed Creations, it's not relevant. But I'll put an asterisk there about the Foundry in a second. At the end of the City of Talker, I think it's Jadoth, right? Not relevant. The Stygian Maw, the giant vagina with teeth monster, it's not relevant. Ravenheart Gloom. Who is it you fight in Ravenheart Gloom? It's a bunch of like shadow creatures that just keep splitting up, right? But what are they called? I can't remember what they're... Oh, that's crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of Guild Wars 1 players that could still tell you that, because Doa Speed Clear is one of the main things people still do, right? Anyway, yeah, back to the Foundry, though. There's a mini-boss in there, and Banjo just got it in chat. There's a mini-boss, the Black Beast of Ark, who I used to have billions of his shields from when I used to farm that. And it's essentially a roller build. So that's really clever that they put Greased Lightning there. That's actually so clever. That's one of those things, right, where I'm like, fuck, man, they're fans. They get it. Like, they clearly remember Domain of Anguish quite well. That would be an easy bit of trivia to forget or slip, but whoever set these up knew their shit. That's what I'm saying, by doing the mini Greased Lightning there. And then just generic dungeons, Eye of the North base feature, that gives you the Destroyer of Flesh. So yeah, as you can see, it's just go play through the game again and do some of the hard areas. Be really kind of cool for a sort of LP-ish type thing, wouldn't it? Anyway... So I have Shiro's Return. Wait. Can I not do it because I did it in hard mode? Miniature It's called a festival thing. Redeem a fully complete copy of Shiro's Return hard mode. No, it is hard mode. Oh, at Lawmaster. Oh, we don't speak to them. We go to the Lawmaster. So, yeah, I've done Cantha, which means I get the Panda. I feel weird doing this. Like, I shouldn't. Like, I should hold it off and we'll do a series, but I'm going to do it. So, we're going to collect our Panda here today. So, I need to go to a Lawmaster. I guess I'll go to Kaineng. And we'll cash it in for Kurzik points. The books don't get doubled on double weekends, so so you can cash them in at any time. Last year I was doing a lot of Cantha speed booking, and I felt like it was fast progress until a double weekend started, and I just did Vanquishes, and it's so much faster to just do Vanquishes. It's unreal. So, your copy of Shiro's Return is the perfect place to record the details of your Canthan tales, of which I didn't stream any of them. Sorry, guys. Look at my copy of Shiro's Return. I get 120,000 Friend of the Kurzik points, 6 Platinum, and 60,000 experience. Yes, take the book. I also get Miniature Companion Factions done. Now, I guess we go speak to the guy. And so that's the process of getting the minis now. Overall, I think it's an okay update. I think I'm on that. I was on that copium that they do something more with the game, or like take it off of a low simmer eventually, you know. And it's just that thing where it really does feel. I mentioned this on a recent video. It feels like 20 years is the end of the road, right? Like I just can't imagine them doing something big for the 21st, or the 22nd, or the 23rd. Maybe the 25th. Do you think they could do it on a 5-year cycle? But I mean, there's no world in which the studio is going to sit down and do that and like book in a plan like that, because 5 years is a long time. You know, the people in that room having that meeting might not be there in 5 years. You know, the money might have dried up in 5 years. But you don't know what's going to happen. It's too long, you know. So either they commit to shorter-term content injections, i.e. yearly, or not. And I think this is it really here. But there you go. So Mini Panda. Feels a bit weird having one, knowing it's not really that rare. I mean, the amount of people I saw at the 9 Rings that are just sitting there with one around. But, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I really want to do with it. I want to go to... It's such a shame still that there's no Eye of the North travel here. The tech is to go to Kaineng, so you keep your 8-man party, and then the Asura Gate. That way you don't lose 2 people going 6-man at Lion's Arch. Yeah, I want to dedicate it. I want to see if it can be dedicated. I want to dedicate it. See, this is another cool thing. A toolbox. So I've been sitting there with Guild Wars 2 up, playing SAB and stuff relentlessly, and Blish HUD on. And I've had Guild Wars 1 on with Toolbox on. Just like both of them. Here we go. Toolbox has a cool thing that will show you everything you still haven't dedicated. Here you go. The game itself shows. There's so many of them, actually, that I need here. So display my Mini Panda. The Mini Panda will be forever marked as having been dedicated in a Hall of Monuments. No other characters will be able to display it in their Hall of Monuments. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Yeah, I can't trade it anyway. Ha ha! So I like the idea of finishing this off. And Toolbox also shows you all your armors and stuff as well. So earlier, when I thought I was live and I wasn't, I also went on a big long thing. So Toolbox, I've been on their GitHub again, opening a feature request. They've got a cool thing on... I can't really show it to you at the moment, but they got a cool thing on Toolbox at the moment, which is like, it will automatically wiki the thing that you're targeting. So like if I click Gwen, it will pop up a window that says Gwen, and it says the skills she's using, and it gives you trivia about her. So like at the boardwalk, when I would click an NPC to buy more tickets, it would say, oh, this NPC, you can sell the tickets back for the same rate, or you click the guy at the door, and it will say, oh, you can actually access this even when you're not in the boardwalk, but they'll just teleport you further into Xingji, so it doesn't really do anything. And you can read it in-game, which is quite cool. Last year, I was really enamored. So Toolbox has this thing where it will snap the minimap, the Toolbox minimap, onto your compass, which is like pretty epic. I like the idea. I became enamored with this thing where, with Toolbox, it would snap onto the health bar the enemy's resistances and vulnerabilities. So if you're fighting like a gargoyle and it doesn't like blunt damage, it should show it there, you know? Like, oh, blunt damage, so you know if you're a warrior, oh, cool, I should play my hammer build here. Or, you know, oh, this plant, this oak heart is weak to fire. Oh, I'm an elementalist, I'm going to play my fire build here. Or I'm going to use my fiery dagger tang, and I'm going to do fire damage with my dagger and stuff. There's a lot of cool shit in Guild Wars that would play around that if the information was available. So I opened that feature request last year, and they said, no, we're working on this other thing. This wiki thing. And it will effectively do that. So, like, and it does kind of, like, I'll click Lieutenant Thackeray and it will show his armor values, but it's not, I don't know. So anyway, I went to their GitHub and I opened another thing saying, hey, can this be more like a widget? Can I get a couple of more options? And they're amazing. They're really cool. Immediately, a guy responded saying, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And they've done a little thing. But I don't think it's ever going to quite be what I wanted with the armors and resistances thing. So, I don't know. And it's a bit of an unfortunate because if you click someone like Vec has a huge wiki page. So the UI is just massive. And they have like an auto size option, but it's broken on my client. Like it shrinks the skills and stuff. It doesn't quite work. And I don't know. I feel a bit weird going to their GitHub and saying, no, do this now. Now do this, so that it's my perfect special little idea of what I think the feature should be. You know, like they're hobbyists. It's their mod effectively or whatever. So, but yeah, it's kind of cool and something I've been playing around with. So there you go. That's Guild Wars 1, guys. That's the 20th anniversary. That's my take on it. I can't remember if I mentioned, but yeah, I think I did. We talked about how strong of the Necromancer and stuff is. I think the biggest winners have been of the Necromancer and the Expertise Daggers. The Expertise Daggers have just upped the damage so much. So yeah, I guess I'll log out in the Hall of Monuments here. And, oh, this will be... Ready? Look at this transition. Look at the quality you get. Ready? Whoa. 250 years later. Well, we're no longer lucky and unlucky. Instead, we're working on achievement points now. Oh, God, 50k. I thought it'd be so simple. It's really not simple. It's hard to get AP at this point. So, I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2 as well. Convergences, I got 2 more convergences to do, and then I get the Bearkin tonic. Okay, hold on, we got to change the audio again now. I think I'll actually hear it this time. Won't just be you guys. Oh, maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I muted it because the NPCs were talking away. Yeah, so the big topic is, you know, finishing Janthir Wilds off. I got to do 2 more. And I'll be done. This is so tedious and slow, guys. It's unreal. And I've got, obviously, Greer can spawn in the Convergence now. It's funny to think if you just did it really quickly, got all 50 before the patch, you wouldn't even have to deal with Greer. Greer, I think, is harder in the Convergence. Like, he feels a bit shorter, but that's probably because I don't think about, like, the mini-boss split phase too well. When you think about the mini-bosses that are there that Decima doesn't have, and then he does a lot of damage, a lot of comedy damage. I basically just play a cleansing healer in the Convergences now when it rolls Greer. I like the variety, obviously, and I'm guessing Ura will be in the next patch. I'll be done by then. Basically, I've just been sitting there, AFK on the 9 rings, playing Guild Wars 2 here, doing SAB, and then whenever I see event timers come up for the Convergences, I run off and go do those. So that's that. And then last year's Convergence, remember, they want you to do 100 for Secrets of the Obscure. I think I'm on like 92 for Secrets of the Obscure. So a few more of those to do. As we all know, I wasn't that into Secrets of the Obscure, particularly through all the nice patches. I didn't really play that much. Well, I think I probably played a lot more than the average person, but, you know, grading on a curve for what my normal activity on this game's like. I didn't do much. Yeah, so I've got 91. I've got 9 more to do there. This one's a bit easier because you can find on LFG people doing the challenge modes. And if you get a good group where they're just going to go through and do all the CMs, you can pop like 5 of these really quickly. So even though it's double, because of the CMs, it's not so bad. By the way, I'm looking at Blish HUD right now. But you guys can't see it because I've got to do like the third-party overlay thing and it's not working or whatever. Remember we had that issue last year? So yeah, so I've been doing that. There's the Mistburn Barrens as well. Last you saw at the end of that LP, I had quite a few achievements left to do. I've done them all now. The map's finished, obviously, and you saw me finish all the story ones. There were a couple of hidden achievements in there. Mostly this was quite easy. The only vaguely grindy one is that the north lane, you've got to jump around on your Warclaw, throwing magic down to the golem down in the valley. And it's like 200 of them, so it's quite a lot. They added a new rift as well, but you can do those. I don't know. It was pretty simple. It was just do all the different events. Very easy breezy patch as far as that's concerned. The cool thing that they did, though, was this. In just regular Janthir, there's the... Remember, Deflahar is now selling these new recipes? So there's new decorations based on Kaineng City. And there's new decorations themed around the domain of Istan. And there's new decorations. There's loads that you can do with your homestead, including all the SAB updates they've just done, which is a fuck tons of recipes as well. And all of these. There's a lot more you can do with your homestead. And you can kind of really feel that's the big theme of the year. I actually really liked this. So basically it was go back. You can either pay the 10 gold to get the recipe straight away, or you can go do events in that area of the world, get the recipe for free and like 3 AP per or something. And they had a lot of good stuff in here. It's not every map in the game, but it's a lot. This was quite a lot of playtime this week. But like they have to say the Battle for Lion's Arch in there. After I got all the achievements in the Battle for Lion's Arch, I really thought... So, like, the 6 minutes to Nightfall thing took me a while to find a group for that. I thought, oh, I'm never going to come back here. It's just they don't have the systems in the game to encourage you to do that regularly. You know, it's not like Guild Wars 1 with Zaician bounties and stuff that kind of would. So I thought I'll never go back. But here they are. They ask you to come back to that. Grothmar they had in there. A couple of fractals. That's sort of whatever. Dragonfall's there. Which is funny, because I need to do that for the last Aurene weapon as well. Yeah, did I talk about that? I've been working on the Aurene. I've got no money in Guild Wars anymore. I have 2 gold to my name. 2 gold. That's it. And one of the reasons for that is I've just bought all the stuff you need for all the variants of the Aurene legendaries. And I've got them all now, except I need to do Dragonfall. And I don't know, man. Like, people do Dragonstorm. People do Dragon Stand. But Dragonfall, the Season 4 one, I don't know. But there was some good stuff here. Like Corner, a lot of Season 4 stuff, really. Farm maps that I hadn't been to. Like, I hadn't done a Palawadan forever, and this would encourage you to go do a Palawadan. As it happens, it wasn't up, and I just ended up killing some Corsairs. But yeah, so the last thing I need, though, is, annoyingly, this is a mastery point thing. You got to do the heart in the Mistburn Barrens every day for, like, 14 days. Same thing that they did with the base expansion. I know a lot of people don't like that. I actually kind of enjoy it. I don't know. I feel like I connect to the X-Pack a bit more if I'm asked to regularly go there. Otherwise, it's just in one ear, out the other. And I've only done 12 out of the 14. When I do that, I get the last mastery point and the patch is done, basically. So, yeah, that's the Mistburn Baron. That's this expansion so far. And yeah, 2 convergences, and I'm just kind of waiting for the final patch now. So that leads me to SAB. Okay. Right, I'm going to take a second now to actually look at chat. Hello, chat. Oh, Lord. And that was a lot of talking that time. How's it going, guys? Dean Calendar, HWP in chat. It's been a bit. I hope everything's going well. Mario says I've got to get working on my Hole of Monuments. Yeah, I like... what can I say? It's a bit... People always say this in a derisive way, but I'm a bit of like a collector. I like getting achievements. I like filling in the boxes. I like getting ticks. I don't know. Give me the gold star. Even if you're asking me to do bullshit, I'll sit there AFK on the 9 rings for it. You know, like, I don't know. It's a bit silly, isn't it? But yeah, so I understand totally if you want to get the Hall of Monuments too. There isn't much going on in SAB, but the weekly's always nice to do. There's a new bear decoration. Yeah, oh shit, I didn't show him. So, just earlier when I was recording but not recording, I was in here doing an SAB run. So I'll give you guys the quick lowdown on SAB. So obviously, it originally came out on April Fool's during Season 1. It was kind of an iffy patch because... Like, I remember I had a friend at the time who just, like, bitched about SAB. It's really good. SAB's really good, but I remember him bitching on the grounds that on the grounds that they should have added raids. You know, it's just basically this thing of WoW players, World of Warcraft players come along and they say, oh, Guild Wars doesn't have the features I expect it to have yet. Like, it didn't have mounts at the time, right? This was all pre-HOT and POF. So how dare they waste time making SAB? Why did they spend time on this? They should have made raids. So it's kind of iffy, but it was really good. But not everybody saw eye to eye with it. And, you know, there's that famous story from internally where, you know, it almost got cancelled because the art style was wrong and all of that. Anyway, so a bit rocky, but good. A few months later, they did Back to School. Back to School was insanely good. Bigger levels, more intense mechanics, just everything you love about SAB, but more. But just so big and so epic that a lot of people didn't like it now. The levels were very long. I kind of look back on that as just a horrible moment for the Guild Wars community. You know, it's so sad to me that the Back to School update, which was unquestionably excellent, got bagged on. And I'll tell you why it got bagged on, largely on the grounds that people couldn't get their rewards quick enough. It was too hard for them. I can't get my rewards, you're asking me to do too much. And on those grounds, it didn't have as good of a reception as the original. I mean, and on those grounds, it went away for years. I think that's such a shame. But yeah, so then SAB disappeared, you know? There was no SAB during Season 2. There was no SAB during Heart of Thorns. There was no SAB during Season 3. And so during this era as well, I think when they added gliding, they updated their, like, movement cheating mechanics, you know, like how they detect people teleporting around or teleporting through walls. But when they did that, it basically broke SAB because of some of the movement here, so they couldn't even bring it back, remember, for years. There was none during Season 3. Season 4, I think it still wasn't... Sorry, POF, I think it still wasn't in the game. I think. Sometimes the checkpoints don't launch you up, and I never know why exactly. I always wonder if it's because I've moved in the wrong way right when I hit the pad. But so it was just gone for years and years and years. Finally, they found a way to get it. It's funny to think about all this as ancient history now, right? But they found a way to get it every year for the festivals, and that's cool. We've had it yearly, but there hasn't been a World 3 up until 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years. Please don't tell me it was 3. When the testing zone came out. World 3 test zone. So that was pretty exciting. To be honest, now that the new car feel, let's call it, there's got to be a good term for that, the new car feeling, right? Now that it's sort of the shininess has worn off, I don't know if I like the level that much. It's mostly just filled with a bunch of enemies we already fought and stuff. But it's like a beta of a level, right? And the idea was, last year, SAB came out again, and I was really keen last year to see what they had done with the test zone. What's going to happen? Is it going to be the fully complete test zone now? Are we going to get another test zone for World 3? You know, that's the level that I would expect. Finish it off or get the next zone. I'm expecting some meat, because otherwise, how long is it going to take for us to actually finish and, you know, get all the content from SAB? It's going to take so long. So last year, I have to be honest, I was very disappointed by the Super Adventure Box. Because, yes, it added some stuff, right? Like, it added, like, the oozes, and wasn't there that hidden fish at, like, some of the shops. They filled the level out a bit more, but they didn't do that much. And it made me realize that we're on a very, very slow level. So the question is, what have they done this year, right? So we've just had all that Guild Wars 1 stuff that I'm talking about. We've had the new patch. I honestly think it's very good to be a Guild Wars fan at the moment. I think mini X packs are very good for, like, content. We're getting a lot of content, guys. I know that they feel small, like, piece by piece, but if you honestly compare this last 2 years, we're almost on the third one already. The fucking Secrets of the Obscure was only last summer. No, well, not last summer, the one before. A summer and a half ago. It's fast. We're getting a lot of stuff. I think, you know, I've lived through... I know that the Doomers don't like to admit it, but I've lived through all the Guild Wars fucking content droughts. You look at, like, the post-End of Dragons. What did we get in those 3 years? Like, a year of nothing. Giala Delve, a year of nothing. Like, come on! I think we're doing very well. I think there's a lot coming in. I think it's good to be a Guild Wars fan, but I don't know whether they've really nailed... You know, we've had the 20th anniversary. I don't know whether they found the space that SAB needs. Because this year, again, basically nothing's happened. In fact, less has happened for the new zone this year than even last year. So that's 2 pretty big disappointments in a row for me. I know there's a part of me that wants to defend the studio and say, well, look, but we had the 20th anniversary. And you could say, oh, because they did the 20th anniversary, they didn't also have the space for SAB. But, I mean, isn't that... I mean, who are we to say that? We don't know what devs have what to... You know, just because someone can work with the SAB mechanics and assets and toolset and understands how to make an SAB level, in what way are they necessarily the exact same people that can work on a Guild Wars 1 update, you know? So I don't know whether you can say one was traded for the other. I don't know whether that's fair or right. It's that same thing of bitching that the Black Lion team takes away from expansions. You know, it's clearly not true, right? And we're not in a position to know any of that stuff. So I don't know. I think it's nice we had the 20th anniversary stuff. I wanted more from World 3. So here's what happened, actually. I was playing SAB daily. I've been doing this to get my bauble bubbles. This is my routine that I'm showing you guys here. I do every level in normal mode, not trib, not infantile, or whatever it's called now. God, that I really, seriously, I don't know why we had to be so sensitive about that infantile thing. I think we took a fun, tongue-in-cheek, fun joke there and got very corporate and got very PR and got very human resources about it. And I still just, I think it feels like they're losing touch a little bit with updates like that. But whatever, it's a small thing. Sorry, I've got to be quick here. I think I might have missed it. No, I'm all right. I always try and squeeze in the elite here as well. So, so I was doing this for the decorations and whatever. We just made it in time there. Finishing off my Super Assassin thing as well, the final festival thing. I've been working on this for ages. I'm happy to say this is done as well now. The Crimson Assassin. Pain in the arse, this one. You get the backpack. Don't. Oh my god, I just almost killed myself. Look at my health right now. I really shouldn't have done that. I'm trying to play and talk and show shit off. But yeah, you get the backpack. I still have it in my inventory here. I used an upgrade extractor and pulled the infusion off. I actually have 2 of these infusions now. I don't know where I got the other one from. But anyway, so yeah, I've been doing SAB. Didn't notice any content. Already changed. I read the patch notes. The patch notes show, you know, a bunch of homestead updates. And so, yeah, there is SAB stuff. There's the new, like, rainbow weapons that they've added as well. They've expanded the Retro Forge things, I think. I need to buy one more of those. I actually have the bauble bubbles now, but not the gold, not the cash, which is quite sad. I've been getting, like, my weekly vendor. You know, the weekly vendor's updated twice now. And I've got all of those. But I didn't really see any content. And I'd read the patch notes and I didn't see any content. But then I was looking, as I say, I've been trying to finish things off. And I looked. Well, we're going to hit a loading screen in a second here for the bonus level. And this really blew my mind. Nice. Managed to right-click the chest and get the baubles before the loading screen here. Banjo says they changed the expansion format after the SAB update. Yeah, I can't remember the exact timing. I can't remember. Because it feels like mini-X packs mean that they can't do the SAB updates. But I'm not sure if that's right. Maybe it is. Anyway, yeah, so I was looking at my festival stuff. You got annual nostalgia, which I'm like behind on as I am with all the festivals. But, you know, I'm not going to get that till like 2030 or some shit. But this was here. Super Ooze Baker. Complete events in the Super Adventure Box. Ooze Kitchen. Delicious any way you slice. Mini Super Yellow Ooze. With the reward. It's 1 AP. This is new. And I looked back at the patch notes and it does say there's a new zone. I could have broken the cart. Whatever. I already did this. There's a new zone. I didn't realise. So the trick is, I've never been there. I don't know what's going to be there. That's what the other half of this stream's going to be. Before I start geeking out about Oblivion and swarm you guys with Oblivion content. Which I'm so excited about. Yeah, so on Wiki it says that the way it works is you enter it from outside. You have to go to like one of the main cities and there's a new portal entrance. And the screenshot I saw, I've got it as the thumbnail for this video. The screenshot appears to be... You remember the original preview of World 3, the sparkling pools type area, where you find the gin? I think you're back there. So I don't know whether they've just reused that because they had it on hand, or whether there's going to be some fun lore or something. I don't know. And I do mean lore, because the Super Adventure Box had that weird, cool story back in the day, didn't it? It's such a crime that the original team and the original guys enthusiastic about it couldn't just plow on. The fact they have to stop after that first summer, presumably because of bad player feedback, is just crushing. Even if they finished the SAB now, it wouldn't be the same, right? Because it'd be different people 10 years later. And it just wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't be the original vision. I'm really annoyed because I did the super speed jump when I did this earlier. In fact, I never fell on a single jump or anything the entire way through when I was rambling away a minute ago, and now I've fallen a couple of times. But yeah, so we're going to check out the Ooze Kitchen. We'll see what that's like. So I've just bitched about how this it didn't get enough. I haven't played. I actually don't know. I could be totally wrong. So let's withhold our true judgment. Oh, I've already dug this. Here, guys, there's a very good chest. 50 baubles right there. You want to get that. Okay. So yeah, where did I get to when I realized I wasn't streaming earlier? It was on this zone, wasn't it? Had I just got off the raft? I think I was on the raft. Or maybe not. Maybe... I don't know. I don't remember what happened here. But there you go. So you're pretty much caught up there. It's been a lot of SAB for me, doing the dailies. I don't think I really need to do the dailies anymore. Now that I've got all the crimson weapons, I guess I will, just in case. And maybe I can trade the tokens for more baubles or something. But I think just regular runs is all I need to do to just keep getting bauble bubbles and see that there. So yeah, so what do you guys think in chat about all this? Wild Buddy says players didn't like this. Yeah, seriously, they didn't. Because to put the patch in context, right? It's a fresh MMO that had a lot of end game problems because Arenanet was too short-sighted. Another way of putting that is that they're too nice. Basically, they came out of the gate with the anti-grind philosophy, and they made everything very simple and very easy and very quick. You got a lot of XP very easily. You got gear very easily. People hit parity and ran out of things to do very easily. All there was legendaries, which, to be fair to them, actually were quite difficult for the first 6 months or so. So there was that, but that was it. It was legendaries. So Season 1 was desperately trying to say, okay, here's things to do. And it was basically it was fear of missing out before that became an ugly term. And people weren't really buying it because it was the early Season 1 fear of missing out, and they weren't sure it was a worthy substitute for normal MMO rat racing and like giving you endorphins watching your lucky and unlucky title go up monumentally slowly, but it does go up, so you're excited. Guild Wars 2 was doing away with all that, and it was saying, hey, just do Season 1. It wasn't fully hitting, so right around this, I think it was with the Back to School update, they did Ascended Weapons. Like a different type of Ascended was coming out patch by patch. First you had rings, later it was the accessories, the amulets, the weapons, the armor. They were all coming out during that time. And it was like people were looking for tangible reasons to be interior and kill big bosses and do fun dungeons and shit interior. And then there was this, which is amazing, but it's like asking for chocolate cake and being given, you know, an apple turnover. I love apple turnovers, but if I bought the cake, people are a bit upset about it, you know. It just kind of wasn't what they were asking for. And I'm a huge fan of SAB, and I think it's brilliant. This is like, to me, the greatest it's funny, we're thinking about Oblivion and stuff all the time. People say that Shivering Isles is like the greatest expansion ever made. To me, the greatest expansion I've ever played is not Shivering Isles. Shivering Isles is very good, but it's not Shivering Isles. I mean, technically Eye of the North, it's pretty up there in terms of size and stuff. But it's Tiny Tina's, like, I can't remember what it's actually called, but the D&D adventure in Borderlands 2. They ended up making a whole game out of it, and I think it's rubbish. But that DLC, that shit was insane, right? Really, really good. And I look at SAB as like that in a way, you know. It's a very different style within the game, but they really went super heavy with it. Just absolutely monumentally huge with it. And, you know, I appreciate it for what it is, but it didn't review well. And especially the second one didn't review well because the levels were too long. And they are too long. But, yeah. It's hindsight. It's always hindsight. That's what... When you watch someone like me online, we just all wait, you know, we don't really know what the fuck. It's just we get to bitch after things happened. We get to look back and say, this is so... I seriously doubt anyone at Arenanet sat down and planned to have SAB disappear for years. Nobody planned for that. That shit just happened, you know. But whatever. See, this thing's really annoying. I've had it where I've been bouncing on this, and I just cannot get on that ledge sometimes. Oh, that's ages well. I'm going to go for the jump. Ready? Nice. You have to do that like with a light touch, otherwise you end up just hitting the wall and going the wrong way. Another easy 50 baubles there. Right. We'll TP to the top. We'll try the other quick way through here. But yeah, it's funny. With Oblivion, I've been reminding myself of things. One of the things I was curious about last night is what order all of the original DLCs came out in for Oblivion. Because I'm thinking, what are we going to do in the series? What are we going to play? What order are we going to do things in? And I was wondering if I'll go to like Battlespire and get the castle really, really quickly. Fuck. No, we're alright. And so I found myself on Wiki reading about horse armor. You know, horse armor is like this just famously like terrible moment for gaming because it was the first, what do they call it? A tent pole? It's kind of like one of these big moments where DLCs and the expiration of microtransactions became a thing, and it got panned. You know, oh my god, they're selling you armor for your horse. That's outrageous. That's so terrible. That's blah 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 blah. You know, I didn't realize this. It's become such this big, like almost mythical story, right? I was on Wiki reading the details of original horse armor when it came out. Largely, the DLCs that they were doing for Oblivion were in service of the Xbox Live Marketplace. Because remember back during early Xbox 360 and PS days, Xbox Live was doing way, way better than PlayStation with like their dashboard infrastructure and all that stuff. And I don't even think Oblivion was originally out, right? Was it? On PS3? It later came to PS3. But, so Horse Armor came out, and it was kind of just... it was the first thing that they sold. And, oh, so much greed. It's so terrible. That thing cost £1.50. It was £1.50. And I look at that number now, right? And I assume this is just because we're 20 years on and we've just been ravaged by evil, big gaming corporations that are only out for our money. Greedy bastards, right, everyone? We've all been just cooked now. But the thing is, I look at £1.50 and I'm like, that's all right. I mean, inflation or whatever. Let's even say that's £3. I'm all right with that, you know? Like, it seems crazy that there was ever an outrage about it. Wiki also says that DLC is notable not because of the outrage, but because it was, like, the best-selling DLC of all time, like, at that point. It was hugely successful. Loads of people bought it. It was really interesting. There were a bunch of quotes on there as well of, you know, like, games journalists. Back when they kind of were journalists, there was some accountability. There weren't 100,000 of them in every corner just affirming whatever you wanted to hear. You know, they were writing for real publications, like magazines. But they were basically saying things like, oh, this is interesting, because once, like, the 6th or 7th DLC came out, they were like, wow, instead of looking at a £50 entry to this franchise, you're now looking at, like, a £65 entry. Is that too much to ask for one game? Stuff like that, you know? Like, it's really, really interesting to see what people were worried about. And yeah, there were concerns about when the PS3 version came out, assuming it would have, like, a big mega bundle where everything was available all at once. Will the Xbox players feel slighted and the PC players feel slighted at that point, you know? But anyway, in the remaster, you get them all. There was kind of a big issue with those DLCs in the actual original. Bethesda sucked at this for a long time, but basically what happens is when you finish character creation in the tutorial, you leave the sewers. You get just 1,000 pop-ups in your face immediately. Very unimmersive. Just, oh, you can go here, you can go here. And they do it. Like, apparently Fallout 4 is really bad for this as well. Skyrim was bad for a while. But apparently new creation clubs things don't do it so bad. But, you know, I used to have a whole suite of mods that would fix and integrate and move those all nicely into the game. For the remaster, they've done that, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not perfect. So, like, one of the expansions, Knights of the Nine in that game. Sorry if I'm getting too lost in the weeds about this at the moment and people that don't know it. But in that game, it, like, opens with one of the chapels. Like, I think there's a murder or the chapel gets burnt down or something. And it's supposed to be that you play the game, you do the Oblivion Crisis. We're probably going to die here. No, we're alright, but they didn't drop any food, so the fish might kill us. You're supposed to beat the Oblivion Crisis, and at any point, you can go to Anvil and see the chapel, and you can meet the NPCs there, and you can speak to them, and they're a part of the world. And then you install the expansion, and then they die, because it's set after the main story. But with the remaster, it all immediately happens. So you'll only ever see the place blown up and the thing's dead, which is a shame. I'm sure that that can be modded, though. They must allow you to fix that and tweak that somehow. I'd like to have that improved. But yeah, like they've done a good job with it. It looks like they've integrated all the DLCs. There is a deluxe version, which I'm not really ashamed to say because I'm a big fan of the game. I did buy. The deluxe version has like a couple of totally new quests, which I'm really excited to see, for some new armor, and as a bit of a meme as well. So you get horse armor in the base game, but as a meme, they've made it that you get even more horse armor in the deluxe edition. So there's new horse armors. God, I can't wait to play it. I've got it installed, but I haven't done anything with it. It's gonna be tomorrow, guys, basically. So just so that you all know, the next big stream series from me is Oblivion, starting tomorrow. And I've been planning to do an Oblivion LP for years. I've got loads of notes and things I wanted to do. But the plan was always to do Daggerfall and then Morrowind first. And this is kind of a terribly kept secret. I've mentioned it a few times. I've been Let's Playing Daggerfall for about 9 months now, on and off. I just can't get it to stick. But I have been working on it. Anyway, the remaster's come out, and I've just decided, fuck it, I just want to play Oblivion. The whole reason I wanted to cover Elder Scrolls for a long time anyway was because I'm a fan of that specific installment. I started with Morrowind, but Oblivion's the one that I really love. And and the remaster's come out, and I'm just like, screw it, I'm just going to play it. So we'll do like a casual LP. I don't know whether... I don't know how things will go. I'm kind of throwing my plans to the wind for a bit, just to play it and have fun. And I think it'll be amazing. You should do a couple of test streams. I had infinite crashes and refunded it. Yeah, I was reading the reviews, and there were a lot of people saying they were getting crashes. Apparently, it's low VRAM, and I don't know if I really have that much VRAM. I have a 3080. I don't know how much VRAM that is, or if there's different editions with different amounts. I mentioned Monster Hunter Wilds, so I was playing that back in January or February, whenever it was. February, I think. That's the first game that's made me feel like this PC's a little bit dated for the first time ever. Because I usually play old games, you know. I'm really hoping that I can run Oblivion well. What I will say is there are some... So you can mod the new one. It's just a bit tricky. But there's a whole other layer to the modding as well. Because you can mod how Unreal works as well. So there's a bunch of mods at the moment which are basically piles of configuration files and like INIs for Unreal Engine, where they say, here, look, the Bethesda guys, oh sorry, Virtuous is it's a French third party that they hired out to help them make it. These guys are they didn't do everything that you can do with Unreal. So you can activate this, you can activate this, you can do this, you can do this. And those mods are very popular at the moment. If you read the comments on those mods, they're just filled with people saying, this fixed my crashing, this took me from 40 FPS to 120 FPS with no visual difference, and on and on. And I'm not talking about like a couple of shills boosting little mods. I'm talking like thousands of people saying, this thing's insane, this made the game, this fixed all my micro stutters, this fixed it. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. So if it runs badly, I'm sure it will run fine in the sewers because interiors in that game is always fine, right? Performance is easy in those. So in the first episode, I think it'll be fine. But if we get really bad frame rates and stuff or instability when we actually get out into the world, yeah, I'll just run configuration stuff. But I do kind of want that first moment where I turn it on and first play it to be fresh and to be right there with you guys on stream. I think that'll be cool. I don't want to log in and play and make a bunch of test characters and set it up. You know, one of my big problems with Elder Scrolls, I'm really excited to share Elder Scrolls with you guys and do Elder Scrolls with you. I always have been. But they're so big and complicated, and like I do it in such an archival kind of like trivia focused way. I just get lost in the weeds with all of these projects. All the shit I've got set up for Morrowind, all the episodes I've done of Daggerfall and stuff, they're all really, really hard to get going. Arena was the same. So instead of falling into that trap of just like spinning around, like trying to say and do everything, I'm just going to go for it, right? So that's my hope. And that means I'm not even going to test how the performance works. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. 38 has 10 gigabyte of VRAM. May need to adjust some settings, but it'll be fine. I'm glad to hear that, yeah. I feel like a 3080 is alright. I've been reading a lot about it, and people saying, here are my specs. And a lot of people with 3080s report that they're doing okay. I found it quite interesting, actually. Almost nobody reports having 5080s in the 50 series, even though they just came out and that was all the internet could talk about for a while. I guess not too many people did end up getting them. So expensive. But yeah, it is one of those things. I've basically been in a place where I'm thinking, because I have to be careful about what I'm spending cash on. And I've been thinking that the next big thing that would really encourage me to get a new PC would be something from Arenanet. Oh shit, did I already talk about my tweet in this video? Was that earlier? So I put a tweet up on Blue Sky saying, you know, so the Oblivion remaster is literally just Oblivion with Unreal Engine on it. So if they could do that, couldn't we have that for Guild Wars 1? I think I did mention that, didn't I? Yeah, I did say that. Like, if Arenanet came out, and we know that they've been hiring Unreal devs and stuff for ages, if Arenanet has something really, really beautiful, like that game is super beautiful, you know, that would be a huge encouragement for me to get a new system, run it as well as possible. Oh, Zeppo, you're playing the new Oblivion on a 3060, and it's fine. Nice. Do you feel like you're missing out with your settings and stuff, or do you feel like it's okay? Monster Hunter Wilds was really weird for me, because Monster Hunter Wilds was shit. The optimization on that game, the frames I got on that game were fucking awful. Just dog shit, so bad. And what was really weird was messing with the settings demonstrably made the game look worse, but didn't really help my performance that much a lot of the time. It was really hard to tell what would properly help performance. Like, I did a lot of tinkering with Wilds, and it just kind of... It's not like, you know... With a lot of games, it feels like there's that setting. You twist the setting and you really feel it affect things. Like culling in Guild Wars 2, right? But with Wilds, I just couldn't... I ended up just running it with DLAA, and that was it. No other kind of AI up or down sampling, and that was it. As much as you love the new graphics of the Oblivion remaster, you already got 1 or 2 remasters. The old game is still there underneath with all its quirks, and yeah, it starts. Yeah, see, okay, so this is the other big thing about that game. Like I know a lot about modding that game. If you watch my series, I'll talk a lot about it as it goes. And I know how bad the performance was on that engine, and how, like, just... Like, nothing was... Like, in terms of multi-threading and stuff, almost nothing was going on with it. So even if you had really good modern PC... it would run like shit still. It would run really badly. So the idea of a remaster that just fixes that is in theory really exciting to me. But the question is, it has it. These micro starters that people and stuff are getting, to me, it's like, oh, that's what the original Oblivion's like if you put too many big texture packs on it. If you run Oblivion Reloaded and put loads of cool shaders and things on there. If you fuck with the water and, you know, if you install better cities and unique landscapes and you load just loads of assets into each little area. So here, I like the idea of doing a hitless Super Adventure Box, right? But how the fuck would I get past the Yeti? I don't know how you do the Yeti hitless. I really don't know what the strat is. Do you just sit and wait for the boulders to stop for ages and then go up? I always get hit by the Yeti or die to the Yeti. Croc also just came out too, added to this. Oh shit, did it? I had heard on the subreddit that they were doing a remaster. Sorry, it's really hard to focus at the moment. Basically, as far as the Yeti's concerned, here's what I've resorted to doing. Standing in the corner. Every time you die, you can get the elite on him. But just standing here and shooting him. And yes, you get hit, but as long as you don't touch W, S, and D, I don't think you slide down the wall. And here, you see the boulders? They just go through you, which is really cool. Last hidden chest for another 50 is really good. If you can make the jump. That jump's very annoying. I probably made that look quite simple there, but it's not. And then you get that chest there. So there you go. So yeah, I kind of wonder, like, with the stutters and stuff. But it looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely incredible. The character models I'm really weirded out by. They look very strange to me. Like, they've got this new, like, AI lip sync thing going on, or generative lip sync that's happening, and it makes their mouths look really big, or just, like, blurry. It's just odd. I don't know. There's something about the mouths that I think are really weird in the remaster. And, of course, the faces all look very different. So this was a thing as well. Back in... I almost did that too early, though. Back in the original Oblivion, there were, you know, the faces looked terrible, so there were various mods where people would go and update how the NPCs looked. The most popular of them, eventually, was this thing called OCO, the Oblivion Character Overhaul. And it was cool, but when you installed that mod and you played the game, you'd, like, go through the opening sewers, and you'd see, like, Boris, or Martin Septim, or Uriel, or anyone. And all these characters you know and love, they look really weird, and it's like, that's not the same character. That's a different face to me now. I don't know whether I like this anymore. Boris, in particular, on the Oblivion character overhaul, I always felt that way. And anyway, looking at the footage of the remaster, the same thing has happened. They've updated all the faces, but now it's like, oh, is that them, really? Like, they've made Martin look like Sean Bean, which I think is quite cool. A lot of it looks good, don't get me wrong. It does look very good. Uriel, funnily enough. So Daggerfall, I don't know how much I should spoil about the story of Daggerfall. Uriel's in all of them. Uriel gets kidnapped. If you watch my Arena playthrough, he gets kidnapped by the Imperial Battle Mage, Jaegar Tharn, who impersonates him, right? The events of the first game, Arena, it's called the Imperial Simulacrum. Simulacrum, basically a copy. This guy copies the Emperor, and Uriel gets banished to Oblivion in Arena, which is quite cool, right? Where, like, time moves slower. Because the point is, if you kill the Emperor, the Amulet of Kings will notify he's dead, and then everyone will know. So what this guy did was he just hid the Emperor. He abducted him and hid him inside Oblivion. So that was Uriel. That's the same guy you meet in the sewers. And Uriel appears in live action at the start of Daggerfall, by the way. Daggerfall opens with actual actors. And the Emperor begs you. Basically, in that game, you know, you've got the Empire. Rules over all of Tamriel, generally. The Empire was founded by this guy called Tiber Septim. He was the first Septim. Uriel the 7th, I think, is in these games. But way ages ago, you got Tiber Septim. And what he did was he created this... Well, he didn't create. He got a giant robot called the Numidium. It's just a giant mech. It was built by the dwarves and given to them by the people of Morrowind, blah, 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 whatever. But basically, it's a giant fucking robot called the Numidium. And in Daggerfall... And it's been depowered. Like, its heart's missing. Nobody knows how to use it anymore. But that's how they created the Empire, really. Anyway, in Daggerfall, which is just a few years before Oblivion, in Daggerfall, a bunch of the provinces are in open rebellion and the Empire is breaking. So what Uriel does, he's in live action. There's a guy playing as him, and he basically says... Well, he doesn't. He lies to you. It's too much to explain. Essentially, he sends you to Daggerfall because someone knows how to get the mech going. Someone knows how to rebuild the Numidium. But that's a secret. That's like a scandal. That's a conspiracy that you're not supposed to know about. And so you go to Daggerfall to figure that out. And at the end of the game, you get to choose, essentially, who you give this mech to, or the power to the mech. You can give it to this guy who essentially died for it. And it's sort of a happy ending. You can give it to the orcs, and they get their own province. You can give it to any of the various kingdoms within Daggerfall at the time. Or you can give it to the Emperor. There's like 6 majorly different endings in Daggerfall. It ends in a very cool way. And then, of course, they had Morrowind, and they were like, oh, shit, what do we do? We've got all these different endings. What is the true ending? What's the canon? Did the orcs get it? Did the Underking get it? Did Manimarco get it and become a god? Who got it? And so they invent this thing called the Warp in the West. So the first game, Arena, you can sum up as the Imperial Simulacrum. And the second game, you can sum up as the Warp in the West. And the Warp in the West is essentially this idea that, like, one of the gods involved with this, Akatosh, he's the god of time. And all the timelines got fucked up, and they all happened at once. Everything happened. The Empire got it, so the Empire's back together. The Orcs got it, so the Orcs have their own area now. Orsinium is a thing. Manamako became a god. The Underking got it and left in happiness. Everyone got it all at once, as paradoxical as that is. That's what the warp in the West is, and the lore never really explains it. It's just a hand-wavy way of having all of these endings to the game canon all at once. And that's what they did in Morrowind. So then Morrowind's kind of a side story in a way. And then Oblivion opens, and there he is again, Uriel, once more. But yeah, the new, in the remaster, Uriel's face is a lot like his Daggerfall face, which is quite cool, actually. So the Oblivion original, the old Oblivion version of his face looks fucking terrible. It's just awful. So he looks very... He's supposed to be really old. If you think about it, he's been in all these games, and there's like decades between the games. So he's supposed to be very old, and in the original he doesn't. Now he does look old, and they made him look a bit like his Daggerfall incarnation, which I think is really awesome. Still voiced by Patrick Stewart. I was so worried about the remaster in so many ways, guys. I was worried that they would like fuck with the voices. I was worried that they'd fuck with the gameplay. Oh god, I was really nervous about it. But they did it like perfect. I think this is one of those things where if you don't have too much knowledge about a product and you're on the outside a bit, everything seems amazing. So I'm gonna say I really think they did this remaster perfectly. You get all the beautiful new lighting engine, you get amazing new assets. Like when I mod Oblivion, like every few years I'll go back to mod Oblivion to do a playthrough, and 90% of my time is adding mods that fix engine bugs and UI issues and stuff, and the remaster fixes all of that for you, and adding mods for visuals, and the remaster fixes all of that for you. Like, they did everything I'd want. They didn't change the old voices, but they added some new ones. Perfect. So we get all the warm nostalgia of the old voice actors. They even left in, like, the really silly voice acting bugs where, like, you know, there's that one lady who, like, redoes her voice lines. But there's a bunch of new voices. My god, what a dream job, by the way. Can you imagine getting your voice in the official Oblivion remaster? How fucking sick would that be? Oh, man. If I knew auditions were going for that. But, yeah, you know, the music, they didn't mess with the music. When you look at, like, the 10 remaster, they like, updated all the tunes, and you lost, like, all those lovely synth noises. There are still debates to this day whether the orchestral Besaid is better than the, you know, the chiptune-y, well, not chiptune-y, but synthetic Besaid that they did before, like, with the midis and stuff. So, they didn't mess with any of that. It's great. The only thing I wish the remaster did is there's a lot of things in Oblivion that's, like, cut content. Like, oh, they were planning on having a quest here at this castle with this count, or they were going to do this, or they were going to do that. And you can see the voice lines and stuff, but it was never fully implemented. So you could get, like, mods for uncut content. And they didn't do that. I feel like if they had put that stuff in as well, you know, taken Bethesda's original vision and gone that one bit further. And if we ever saw a Guild Wars remaster, that's what I'd like to see as well. I'd like to see Arenanet take the opportunity to say, well, okay, last time we made Nightfall, we couldn't quite do this, or this, because we ran out of time. Well, here in the remaster, we're going to implement it now. I think that sort of thing's beautiful and really cool, and I'd love to see them do that. And the remaster didn't do that, but everything else is just so good, you know. They updated the UI. It's not perfect for me. Like, it's a bit too white. The parchment isn't quite good enough, but it is pretty fancy. And, you know, the usability's a bit iffy, but then again, so was it always, because they're making these things for consoles now, not PC players. That's a conversation that's well and truly been said enough times since, what, Morrowind, really? Well, actually, Morrowind came out on consoles, but was still very much a PC UI. You know, it's everything I wanted it to be. It still feels like... I mean, okay, the one thing is mods. So, like, there's not actually confirmation of a creation kit or, like, an official way for players to mod for it right now. You can use the old plugins and tweak them a little bit and kind of get it working, but there's no, like, real statement. And that feels a bit odd. I feel like they should open that up. Man, if they open up the workshop, the Steam workshop for Oblivion, the new Oblivion remaster, oh my god. Oh my god, I would go crazy with that. I've finally given up with some of my recent Stellaris mods. I've decided I'm just burnt out on it. I just need to put them aside. I just wrote yesterday, I wrote like pages of information for myself of like exactly where I am with certain projects. Like where I am with the code for them, where I am with the design for them, what's tripping me up, what bits I need to do over, and just try to explain in full for myself. Because in like 6 months, when I get the itch again, I'm not going to remember everything. So I need past me to hold new me's hand. I've realised that about myself. I just have to make good notes for future me, and then it will work out fine. But I've put it aside. I'm too excited to play Oblivion. I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars the past 3 weeks or so, and I'm not really sure about 4.0, to be honest. The more they talk about 4.0, it looks like a clusterfuck, really. CC Cube says they say mods are not supported. Yeah, I only saw the headline about that. I didn't actually read the text, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what was said. But I think what they specifically said was that mods are not supported. As in, right now, there's nothing. Like, they haven't gone out of their way to do anything with mods. But mods are supported. You can go to the Nexus today, and there are people on the Nexus who are porting their old ESPs into the remaster, and it works. There are mods. I think you will see people port unique landscapes and better cities and shit like that. I think it will happen. Well, okay. Some mods will happen. When we look at better cities, when we look at unique landscapes, that stuff's weird because that's going to be really old assets. You know, like better cities will put a crate down. It would look really shit or weird, right? I don't know. I don't know whether Unreal just, because the lighting engine's so good or whatever, just handles that for you. Those mods were amazing, but they used to just kill your performance as well, like really kill your performance. I wonder if you put them in the new game, it will like fix them up and make them look really good. I'm so curious about that. Sounds like even the old creation kit was sort of working. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know what they're doing exactly, but there are a lot of mods already, like for gameplay stuff. There's also like a slew of people doing like reshade presets. I'm so over reshade at this point in my life, guys. Is that weird? Okay, we needed to dig up another chest in Zone 2, and we wanted to break the stump, so let's go do that. I don't know, man. So the remaster's got this, like, fairy tale, almost sepia filter to it. It's very orange, basically. It's very orange, it's very ethereal. And there's a lot of reshades out there that are saying, oh no, that's ugly. It needs to be big and green and bright blue. And I think that's people being a little bit inobjective about how they remember Oblivion. Oblivion had really gross bloom, but it wasn't like kaleidoscopically bright all the time. So there's loads of reshades of people just cutting that orange out, basically. But I don't know, man. I'll take the devs' vision. I think the series that you see I start up tomorrow, I'm not going to be messing with anything like that. Just going to leave it as is. And besides, if I want good performance and stability and stuff, even though reshade is only as taxing as you set it up, I'm just not going to put any overlays or anything on there. I'll just play it. So the other big thing about the game is, like, I haven't just played it raw for years. And it'd be really nice to just do that. What nearly always happens with me is, like, every 3 years or so, I'll get really keen on it. I'll mod, and then I'll play maybe, like, 2 or 3 hours and stop. That's it. And when I say mod, I mean I'll spend like hundreds of hours reading and researching and modding and writing notes and setting up Rybash and OBMM and making my own fucking OMOD files and doing this and creating a cool installation guide for myself later, and I'll do it and I'll do it and I'll do it and I'll do it. And then it's like, performance isn't that great, and I don't know, and then I don't play it. So I know a lot about the very start of the game. But to be honest, there's a lot of the game I don't really remember. I don't remember a lot of the mechanics. I'm not very good at the game. And so I just kind of... I'm going to play it. So here's the big conversation that's going on. I shouldn't talk about all this because I'm going to talk about it all tomorrow, probably. But the big thing that's going on, right? So they did their big reveal. And in it, they had a bunch of, a bunch of the guys, they said, oh, some of us are absolute purists. We didn't want to change anything. But we have done a few things. Like, we've added sprinting. And they say, well, we think that sprinting is probably reasonable to do. And stuff like that. So one of the things they say, and they gloss over this in the presentation, is they say, we have fixed the leveling. And then they move on lightning fast. And it's easy to hear that and be thrilled. But, like, what does that mean? Well, people didn't know for a while. And it's not as good as they made it sound, unfortunately. So, So one of the problems with leveling in that game was essentially every level up you get certain points to spend, but they were based on the skills you'd upped. And if you'd upped the wrong ones or played with the wrong things, if you set the... Basically, the game encouraged you to build your class really weirdly. Set all your major skills as skills that you're never really going to use, and set your other skills as... that you do want to use as not. That way you can get as much value every level up, basically, right? That they fixed. That they changed. They just made it static. They said, okay, every level you get 12 points to spend. That's it. Doesn't matter what you did. There's no crazy min-maxing or you have to track everything you've done. Just play the game and you get 12 points every level, which is great. That's what they alluded to in the presentation, and that's fine. Except Oblivion has a much bigger, broader issue, which is how the whole world scales as you level. Like, they started... Bethesda's very like Arenanet in a lot of ways. They started doing things with Oblivion where they threw the baby out with the bathwater. You know when I bitch with Guild Wars about, like, I don't know whether they really understood what they were doing when they sped up leveling, or they took certain progression away, or they made masteries account-bound instead of character-bound, stuff like that. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. At the end of the day, it is fun to play an RPG and level and have certain, you know, sense of progression. What they did with Oblivion was really weird. Like, they did certain things like you can fast travel to every major city right from the start. Because that's where the fun is, right? And it's like Arenanet getting a bit obsessed with waiting around to have fun and then throwing out the Trinity or whatever, you know, like, not that they did that for that exact reason, but, like, it's actually kind of fun to actually adventure to these places. You know, maybe that's a little bit too much access. So one of the things that Bethesda did, and this was really major, was they said, okay, we don't want people to feel like areas of the world are locked off to them. So we're going to make it so that if you're level 1, the whole world scales to be just that perfect sweet spot of difficulty for you at level 1. So everything can be a fun fight. Everything's doable. And that sounds okay, but what you realize is you've taken all the texture out of the experience. And in tangible terms, what that meant was the entire world. If you stay at level 1, if you just race the main story at level 1, you just fight scamps the whole way through the game. There's just scamps. The odd clan fear. That's it. You don't really... Like, there's a huge diaspora of different mobs that could and should and would be showing up. But because your level's at a certain place, you know, none of it's really that fun feeling. And inversely, once you get to a high level, you never see low-level stuff anymore. You never see goblins anymore once you're a high level. They're just gone. And, like, all the bandits in the world that probably should be in about chainmail, or that's about it, right? Suddenly they're all wearing Daedric armor everywhere, always where you go. Or when you're low level, all the chests are shit and don't offer you any really good loot. We wrote this stuff, didn't we? I'm ranting so hard here that I'm not even really paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, we're doing this for the glitch chest, I guess. So that was the real problem with Oblivion. And the other big side of it is quest rewards as well. So, like, I always think about this quest. There's a quest near the start where there's a lake filled with slaughterfish, and there's a little village called Way, and I used to run a mod called AFK Way, by the way, which made it really big and awesome, and it had a cool combo with, like, an Imperial Bridge patch. Anyway, you'd swim around in the lake, killing the slaughterfish, and he gives you a ring as a quest reward. And the ring, like, you do that early game because it's right near where you leave the sewers. That's, like, one of the things you can do quite quickly. But if you do that early game, you get the ring, and the ring is, like, shit and will forever be shit. But if you did it at a high level, it's like a really cool, unique item that will have interesting properties on it. So there's, like, multiple levels where it was broken. The quest rewards, the enemy variety. Back in the day, people saw this and hated it. And the thing is, the community back then had just come from Morrowind, which was very aggressively in the other direction, where if you go to the wrong area in Morrowind, you just get blown up. What the game really needed was just a better balance, right? Keep the same idea, but have a better balance with it. And there were certain mods that tackled it in different ways. There was OOO, Oscuro's Oblivion Overhaul. Francesca kind of lent into it. And so the remaster came out, and they said, oh, we fixed the leveling. And I'm sure that they knew. It was a little bit sneaky what they did there. I'm sure they knew. Any real Oblivion fan knows all those problems with the game and will have interpreted that comment to mean something big. But instead it was just the 12 attribute thing. That's it. Everything else is exactly the fucking same. So it's a shame. And there's other weird little bugs in there, like You remember I mentioned Knights of the Nine is just active from the start. There's another issue, which is usually if you don't progress the main story to a certain point, the Oblivion Crisis doesn't actually start. Basically, you have to get to Wayne Priory. Before Wayne Priory, you can travel the whole countryside, and there are no Oblivion gates. And it's nice, pristine. Like, there's even, like, houses and shit with people living in them that are fine, and then once the Oblivion Crisis starts, the gate spawns and blows up the house and stuff. There's loads of them, and in the remaster, the gates are just there immediately. You never get the peaceful version of the world. It's just... So anyway, so I had higher hopes for some of those elements of the game. So there you go. That's 2 holes. I guess let's just not take Shortcut Worm, and we'll find another hole. Really easily. In fact, isn't there one... I already did this one here. I don't know whether I tried this on stream. Oh, I didn't already do it. Alright, well, there you go. Okay, that's daily done. Let's go see this new content now, shall we? So, yeah, anyway. Mods that fix that stuff would be cool. Hopefully they do some kind of an announcement with the modding and they improve that. But like I say, what I was trying to get around to is very often, every few years, I'll try and mod that game and I'll play that game. But I'll install a bunch of mods that fix all that jank. And I haven't just played it raw for years and years and years and years. And this will be an opportunity to actually play it raw, actually remember what the game's like, you know, and have a bit of a real experience. So, those are my thoughts with it. Oh, you'd like an invite to Spud? I'll handle invites to Spud, both 1 and 2. When I'm not live, I'll invite people there. Okay, so what do we do to get to the thing? Sorry, let me look at chat here. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see here. The thing is, the open world of Oblivion is pretty barren, so it was a solution to the other issue of entire world being monotonous. I mean, yeah, look, the episode I'm going to do tomorrow, guys, I'm going to open with some video clips with Todd Howard speaking to you. It's going to be really interesting. Trust me. The first 20 minutes of the video tomorrow. Episode 1 of my Oblivion LP. And we'll talk about the open world being monotonous there, because it's pretty fascinating, I think. The performance here from increasing graphics quality seems to plateau out, which seems odd. Maybe it's more a speed problem, not a VRAM problem? I also recently enabled rebar, and you've been having other weird issues. Yeah, what is rebar? I saw a post about that a few days ago. Someone said that rebar was fucking with Oblivion Remaster, and they were disabling it. That it just works. That quote, the "it just works" quote, is actually not in the clips I'm going to show. You found it strange that the used kitchen was not available from the hub, only in the startups. Yeah, it is weird, Sangria. Why do you think they did that? That is strange, isn't it? And then that uncomfortable level threshold when wolves turn into mountain lions. See, you say that. I don't really remember that threshold. I don't, because again, I've not had a real experience with the game for so. My knowledge on that game is so scattershot. It's really weird. It's like I could talk your ear off for like days, not a joke, about mods that exist for it, but barely tell you anything about actually playing it, which is pathetic, really. It's awful, and it's a shameful thing to admit, but I fully fell into that trap. I feel like a lot of nerds will recognize what I'm talking about in themselves, where kind of modding becomes the fun more than anything else. It's like tuning a car up or some shit. You're like, ooh, I can have these birds, and I can have these butterflies on screen, and I can do this. And at some point, you're downloading like a mod that will add llamas to farms, and you're asking yourself, is this really relevant? But you're doing it, you know? And it's not, and that's kind of what that game became for me, so. The remaster is just brilliant, because there's so many mods. Like how the landscape textures blend into each other, how the stars look, how the shadows work, just so much stuff that's just irrelevant, really. And the remaster does it all for you already. Rebar allows the CPU to utilize the entire graphics buffer when it's normally limited to a cap size of 256 MB chunks. Weird. And is that in some way beneficial? I just feel a bit weird about stuff like that. That it seems like an improvement, but often ends up just causing instability in weird ways. One of your IT guys took a week off work to play Oblivion. Oh, I'm not surprised. I bet a lot of people have. It's funny as well, because it's a shadow drop, right? So a lot of people weren't even really prepared for it. You grew up playing on Xbox and you were always jealous of PC mods, so you sidestepped all of that? Yeah, I got very lucky with that. I played Morrowind on PC. And, in fact, my first memory of Elder Scrolls on console was going to a friend's house where he was playing Morrowind on his Xbox original. Morrowind on the Xbox original. And I remember he was entering cheats, and I found it really fascinating. And then Oblivion I played on PC. I actually still have the collector's edition, the PC collector's edition original from Oblivion. It's a bit tatty, but I have it on a shelf behind me. A shelf I put up a couple of days ago, as it happens. And the only thing I'm missing, though, is the coin, the septim, which really disappoints me. Damn it. Because those go for a lot of money. I bet they're selling for a lot of money right now, actually. A septim? As far as I know, they were like 50 quid or more. Like, if you wanted to buy the septim on eBay. I bet they're so expensive now. An original collector's edition one. DMATH, does Guild Wars 2 do anything during Guild Wars 1 anniversary? You haven't played Guild Wars 2 in a while now, outside of SAB. Well, yeah, you're looking at it. It's SAB. The anniversary's going on right now, and SAB goes on in Guild Wars 2 during the time. Okay, let's get into this kitchen. Sorry. I feel I shouldn't rant about all this Oblivion stuff. I should do it tomorrow, so it's all contained in the right playlist. Because what's going to happen now is tomorrow we're either going to say all the same shit again, or I'm going to gloss over it. Oh, whatever. Maybe it's a good thing. Let's stop me having a 3-hour intro. You guys love those, right? I'm going to go to Metrica and just see if it's a Soren draw. For some games, rebar is beneficial. For most games, the benefit's negligible. For some, it might even hurt performance. Yeah, like, I wouldn't take that risk myself. Only if I'm, like, ultra mono-gaming Guild Wars for a while would I think about stuff like that. Because it's like, well, I'm not playing anything else, and it would be really handy. So we do have an icon over here, the Super Adventure Box. Saying all the same shit again as part of the goals. Sure, but like back to back. You have all you have is the cheap map of Cyrodiil that came with Oblivion, but it's a bit tattered now. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You bought Oblivion after renting from Blockbuster, so yours is in a Blockbuster case? Wait, hold on. You bought it after renting, so it's in a Blockbuster case. That sounds like you stole that from Blockbuster. Would they wouldn't sell it to you with a Blockbuster case, would they? Would they? Is that how that used to work? I never bought anything from Blockbuster. Small note, we did get some work put in with April Fools, bringing old stuff back in the Cat Cafe. Yeah, that's true. And in my last Repentance LP episode, I showed off the Cat Cafe, but forgot to go live or whatever. I only showed 3 minutes. Oh no, that wasn't the last episode. That was a couple ago. They sold their stuff as they were going out of business, I suppose. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Remote portal to the Super Ooze kitchen. And Moto is standing here. Educators and offspring across the world requested remote access to the Super Adventure Box. Help us test remote access now in the Super Adventure Box kitchen. How can I help? Step through this remote portal and dive into culinary organic alchemy in the Ooze kitchen. If we can teach progenies about organic alchemy today, someday they may just save the world. Okay. What ingredients will we experiment with? Lots of oozes. Aside from being a traditional Asuran ingredient, they are also a beloved Super Adventure Box character from areas under development. Right, okay. Yeah, there is a lot of ooze stuff in the new zone. Can you compensate me for testing these remote portals? Of course, after appropriate testing, you'll win a safe and educational miniature version of my deadly new yellow ooze. I'll do it for the progenies. And I opened it and showed me the Baker achievement. That's nice. Guild Wars should do that more. How are you here? You're a hologram. Each remote portal includes a holographic echo. Oh, spilling coffee. No. Each remote portal includes a holographic echo of the Super Adventure Box creator, Moto. More Moto, more learning is our credo. Okay, hold on, guys. I need to... Thankfully, this is why we have Bounty Roll here on the desk. So that we can mop up any unsightly coffee spills. Lovely. Damn it, I just bought this keyboard. I just got this new keyboard. I just can't be trusted. I have the terrible combination of liking to drink coffee while streaming and then getting really animated with my hands. Because, yeah, I was gesturing as if I was Moto there. Oh, God. I'm going to have to dry that out with a fan or something. Okay, if I do bad in the kitchen now... oh my god, we scanned for a rift during that somehow? If I do bad in the kitchen, you can blame the coffee. The keyboard coffee. Oh my god, the more I shake it, the more little droplets keep coming out. Okay. Alright, I just wanted to come to another map to see that there were portals in all of them. It wasn't just Metrica. And there are. Okay, enter the Super Ooze kitchen. Note, during your adventure, food and other timed enhancements will have no effect, but their durations will be paused. Wow! Sick! Okay, that might seem like a minor thing, but do you know what? They should have done that years ago for Heart of the Mists. Can we get that? I don't PvP anymore. I'm never going back there. But, can we get that for the PvP lobby? That would be really cool. Well, maybe they don't want to do that because then you'd have infinite celebration booster or whatever, and you'd boost the rewards forever. I don't know. Can they do it on an individual basis? Whatever. Let's go on in. Yeah, this is where the bonus... oh, it's open world. There's other players here. This is where the bonus happens, right? The bonus zone. After you beat the Storm Wizard. Okay, place ingredients in the oven to bake yellow cake. That's a mini, but that's not mine. That's someone else's. Exit portal, and then the SAB portal. I like the effect on that, looking through the portal. Nothing hidden up here. You can climb up this. Can't go through. It's new music, right? I don't think I've ever heard this before. Wow, it's good too. Okay, so we get the dough, we put it in the oven. We want green dough, no other types of dough. I don't think it's dropping other types. It's cool animation as you throw in the cauldron. And the cauldron's a new model, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, I see there's oozes stuffed into the holes. Oh, look, the little beds are still in there, though. Throw another one in. These aren't breakable. It's weird having these tangible. It's such that you can actually stand on them and stuff. Oh, there's a yellow one. Yellow's new, right? In fact, I think there's been a few varieties of ooze as minis, right? But they don't actually appear in-game. Is this the first time these guys have appeared in-game to interact with? Because you don't actually find orange ones and stuff in the new map. I might be wrong about that, but I think not. So I see killing yellow ones is not dropping ooze. Dough. Holy shit, he's big. So he's like a champion. I like his little angry face, his little angry eyes. Make sure you pack your angry eyes. Yeah, that's my terrible impression of Mrs. Potato Head. Sorry, guys. I'm not very good with potato-related media. You might not expect that, given the channel name. You think there's some Fear Not This Night in the song? Is the genie still there, I wonder? Well, yeah, but this isn't the genie area, really. It's kind of is. But the bit with the genie was like this, but more expanded, and there was water flowing everywhere. Got ooze cake. Oh, I got a bauble bubble from that. Got a chest. And I got 20% progress towards Super Ooze Baker. Excellent cooking. Use the exit portal to return home, or use the Enter Super Adventure Box portal to continue your studies. So if I enter the portal, I'll be in the hub, and there's no quick way back into the kitchen, right? They didn't add a kitchen entrance. You would have thought they'd put a kitchen entrance maybe on one of these clouds or something, right? So yeah, we got Deflahar and Sparking Stone. I can't remember what I've showed off anymore, guys. But yeah, the Retro Forged Axe, that's the last skin I need. But I don't have just the raw gold anymore. So I guess I leave. So I was expecting that. To be honest, I'm being very negative. I'm sorry to be so negative. I'm a little disappointed by that. I thought, when I read kitchen, I thought it was going to be, you know those events like, what was the first one? The first one was a mastery point here in POF, I think. But you know, like, I'll give you a better example, hopefully, for those of you who have played it. In the kitchen, the Keep Kitchen in Grothmar, where you get the chef and he tells you, I need this, and then you grab it and you throw it at him, and he says, I need this, and you grab it. There was one in, I'm pretty sure the new expansion had one. There's one at the Wizard's Tower as well, not the Wizard's Tower, over here. At the old Wizard's Tower, the Wizard's Fort, the Beacon of the Aegis. There's one in like, this room. That format of event, I thought it was going to be that, but in the Super Adventure Box. And I know what some of you are thinking, well, so what? Oh, by the way, now that I'm not playing Guild Wars 1 all the time, I can put the settings back up. But not SMAA. Oh my god. Oh Jesus, actually that blew up my frames. That properly blew up, well, because we're highest. Screw culling. Always. I thought it'd be that. You might say, well, what, so what, who cares? Yeah, here you go. Look, now we have textures. Sorry guys, I just gave you some really shitty SAB footage. I'm really sorry about that. This looks way better. It's because I was playing 2 clients at once for so long, and I had this settings reduced. This is so much nicer. But it's not just about the assets and the skin of the thing and how the Super Adventure Box looks. It's like, it's Super Adventure Box, so you could do a jumping puzzle edition of that, right? Where to grab the different things, you're actually climbing around to different areas, and even better, moving terrain. You know, platforms turning on and off. I thought it'd be that. And I think that's a really cool idea, isn't it? I think if we all finger him, he'll die a lot quicker. The finger of Moto. I wonder if I'm actually going to see their animations. By the way, ignoring trib mode, it's possible to get 17 easy bauble bubbles per day now with this. Yeah, is it one every time I... No, it's one daily one. I mean, to be honest, if I knew about this last week, I would have... Look, we got the shadow under the mushroom and everything now. There's a really good texture on that. Right, I'm going to do this exit portal, which hopefully will put me right next to the kitchen. ... phrasing. Guys, to finger is not just sex-related, alright? My god, Guild Wars does look good. I'll tell you what, if you ever want Guild Wars to look good, just play for like 2 weeks on really dog shit settings, and then max them out. You'll have the moment. And you'll be like, oh, this game looks good. Just don't play any genuinely good-looking new games. No, I don't want to speak to you, Mo. Like, when I came back to this after playing a bunch of 14, it really blew my mind. With, like, the aliasing and stuff. Or, like, last year I played Horizon Forbidden West with Kerry. She's there in chat, she can confirm that. That game's so beautiful, it made other games look really rubbish to me. And now I'm sure it will happen with Oblivion. Oblivion, it's like the environments are just insanely good looking. Like, all the shadows and, you know, the architecture, the houses... another thing is like the caves. So one of the things I used to love modding was the caves, because they're all basically the same asset set. I've actually made mods in Oblivion where I build a cave, and it's basically just like Lego, just putting pieces together. They don't actually have many assets, and they look a bit rubbish. So I'm really interested to see in the remaster how much better they've made all of those textures and things look. Hopefully really varied and cool, because there's a lot of them. Horizon Forbidden West is among the best looking game ever. Yeah, I don't know how they did it. It's some black magic, right? Because it runs really well as well. It runs 1,000 times better than Monster Hunter Wilds did. I don't know what it is. I mean, just so much. I think Kerry linked me... Or at some point, I came across... What color are we doing? Green. At some point, I came across a note about, like, their volumetric clouds. Well, maybe not volumetric clouds. Just the clouds. So, like, late in that game, you can get flying mounts, and you can fly up in the clouds. And there'd been this, like, whole technical... Like, maybe it was a GDC commentary or something about how they had done just the clouds. Like, as you fly through the clouds, and they, like... You actually swim in and out of them, and they just look incredible. And that's like one small little bit of the game, but clearly had so much work put into it. Like, Kerry showed me, you know, you go into photo mode, and she, like, zoomed in on a lizard or a chameleon or something, some small critter that was on the floor. And it was just, like, ridiculously well textured, just gorgeous. It's like from very, very big things and very, very fringe things to very, very small things. It all just looks really good. I feel like with a game like that as well, it's such a shame to all the artists and all the technical leads and everyone that puts all of the work into that for a small linear single player. Well, okay, that's not a small game, but it's a linear single player game. It's a game you play and then you leave. I feel like that kind of effort serves best in like MMOs, right? Or, you know, lifestyle games, as you might call them. Games that people will keep playing year in, year out and keep going back to. That's where it is of most value, because that's the highest chance people actually appreciate it for years to come and notice those things. I don't know, I just hate the thought of all the work and energy that goes into all these tiny things with games and, like, no one ever notices them. Because games are so big and complicated and just insane these days. You know, or modern AAA, AA. Guys, this is, it's not nothing. I like that this is a smooth lip instead of a hard one. I was hoping when we would repeat this, we'd get different variations, you know? We'd get, like, different kinds of oozes. It's very odd to me this isn't integrated at all. Wouldn't this have been cooler if it was like a portal in the new level that took you here? It's nice they're still doing new music. Why is it green though? Is it different every day? Art direction helps. UE seems to go with lots of polys and high textures, which is real killer with really killer lighting on top, but it's a real resource hog. Yeah, I've not got any problem with... Well, we'll see. We'll see how it performs. I hope it performs well. You can see an argument that they want people mingling in the starter zones rather than just using the festival pass. No, I mean like in the test zone, World 3 Zone 1. Why can't we discover this as an actual part of the level? This feels so isolated, you know? I guess because of the multiplayer component, but couldn't this have been an expansion to the hub? Doesn't this work? It's kind of like the Bumblebee race, right? You could have the Bumblebee race every 20 minutes, and then every other 20 minutes this, but within the hub. An open world SAB raid would be sick with the skills. Yeah, they had... Do you remember when Josh Foreman did those streams, the retrospective, and he talked about all the cool features and ideas they had? Like, they had an idea of a giant apartment complex, I think he said. Where I think a bunch of people were supposed to climb. You're supposed to climb quickly as the water raised or something. Was that it? Maybe that wasn't it. Was it a PvP thing? It takes place in the robber section of 2-3. Yeah, this is the bonus level at the end of World 2. But it's obviously themed in World 3. This is World 3 theme, isn't it? This is after you fall into the depths. We came, ostensibly, from up there. Is this available in the SAB lobby? No, it's not. It's not. It's available in the starter zones. You'll see how I get to it in a second. But yeah, there are a few games that have been demanding on my system now. Monster Hunter Wilds, probably Oblivion, and I love that game so much. I know I'm going to feel the drive to have a good system for that. You might say this is sad, but Minecraft as well, modded Minecraft with good shaders and stuff. God, that game is gorgeous, and it is so worth having good setups. But they're very, very costly. You guys should try the Photon shaders if you haven't yet, or any of their derivatives. They're just so good looking. They actually create proper colored light. So if light shines through like stained glass, it will be like pink light coming out of the other side. And it makes all the lava reflections on water and all kinds of things just look really, really, really amazing. I actually messaged Boots late December saying, do you want to do a Minecraft series with me in the new year? And we both tentatively agreed to it. So who knows? After Oblivion's done and all that, maybe I'll get that going. Tinker's Construct came out for 1.20 now, finally. So Tinker's is actually on a modern version for the first time in about 10 years, which is really good. So here's the entrance for whoever that was. WP, your system is now... No, it's not. This is the system that we together crowdfunded back in... I think it's 5 years old. Well, to me... It's weird, right? So, like, I just moved again, and as I moved, I was looking at all my PC components. And so basically, I had a bunch of spare PCs and things sitting around from when I was, like, a teenager, really. And it's like, why am I still lugging these around? So what I did was I opened them up. I got the hard drives out, and I got the GPUs out, and just basically... dumped the rest because I don't need it. But and you might say, why are you holding on to old GPUs? I don't know, nostalgia. I like the idea of displaying... This is so nerdy. This is so fucking lame and nerdy. But I like the idea of displaying them. Like, here's the first GPU I bought with the very first job I ever had. And then here's the next one. And then... So I was looking at my GPUs that I've had. And in my mind, I've always been someone that skips a generation. As far as GPUs are concerned, I've always, like, I've never done... But I looked, and I actually I have a 980, which I think is what I started Guild Wars 2 on. And I had a 1080. So, at some point, I did do both gens back to back. But I've never been... but the thing is, I don't think that was a full new build. I think I just bought the card and sort of plugged it in. And I think that was a point I did notice a big performance boost in Guild Wars when I did that. When I went from a 980 to a 1080... It, like, enabled me to use shadows and stuff much better. Guild Wars is so weird, though, because it's just very CPU-bound, you know? Like, I dream of a system that lets you play maxed out with culling completely on. Or at least, like, medium or high. I think that'd be so cool. But, Guild Wars is very demanding. And I don't think this current gen could do it. I don't think next gen will even be able to do it. Maybe another 2 gens from now... You might see Guild Wars starts allowing you to have high culling and stuff. It really depends on how CPUs go, though, and there's been a lot of stagnancy there, I think. Anyway, I was looking at my old GPUs, so yeah, I can't remember exactly what it is. I had like an RTX 770 or 3560 or something. I can't remember the number. That was like my first card. Then I had a 980. Then I had a 1080. And then, yeah, about 5 years ago, I guess. I guess it was a long time ago now. 4 or 5 years ago? We were in Guild Wars doing streams just like this. We did the Dragon Festival, and I had a little bar on screen. And we did donations. It was amazing. I still can't believe that happened, really. That was so cool. Because basically, the PC was breaking. I didn't just do it on a whim. It was because I kept shutting down. It was in the run-up to End of Dragons. It was about a year before End of Dragons, I believe. I think I announced I was going to do Elder Scrolls content, and then End of Dragons got announced. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, right? It went Dragonstorm. I felt really low about the franchise. End of Dragons got announced. Sorry, so I said, let's move to Elder Scrolls and then End of Dragons. But so so we did that, and that was, you know, however long ago that was. So I've got a 3080 now. So I went 980, 1080, 30. And I'm not getting a 40. I didn't get a 40, and the new gen is 50, right? And I'm not getting a 50. So I'll skip 2 gens this time at least. And then hopefully feel financially well enough. I would love to do another donation drive. I just don't know whether that's greedy or... Anyway, that would be a long way away. But I'd like to get a 60 series, maybe a 6080. Going from a 30 to a 60 feels like a cool moment. It's just, it feels a bit early to me at the moment. You know, with this job, if you get a normal job, a normal career, there's an expectation you get raises or your money stays flat. This is just fucking wild. So, you know, I won't necessarily be better off by the time the 60 series comes out. And able to go for it, but hopefully. A 60, 90. Yeah, I've also never got a 90. And that, to me, is just, like, excessively expensive. Not only is the 90s ridiculously expensive for a small performance improvement, but they're massive, and they're power hogs, and they're loud, and they're hot. They're just... There's so many downsides. So, fuck getting a 90 series. 80 is perfectly rational for someone doing this job, I think. Well, there you go. There we got the mini yellow ooze. And we got our achievement. And we're done with the Super Adventure Box now. So there you go, everybody. That's, and as you can see this year, I have not donated to Drewbert. And I have not done the Flight of the Bumblepigs. Because, meh. What do they even give you? Oh, 2 Bauble Bubbles. Actually, I might do those. He only gives you a furniture coin. So yeah, I got these for the 2 dailies. I'm done with Lucky and Unlucky. I might start going for Kurzik or something, but in all reality, I've got a Let's Play, a proper offline normal Let's Play that I'll be making. I'm still doing a lot of like work around the house and the garden as well. And in the evenings, for the next probably month at least. This will probably be like PoE. It will be like Final Fantasy. It will be whatever. For the next month, the next major series you guys are going to see starts tomorrow. In the evenings, join me, guys, for Oblivion Remastered Vanilla. We're not going to mess with any mods. We're going to have the shitty leveling, scaling. We're going to have the leveled quest rewards. We're just going to play it as it is. We're not going to mess with their color grading. With the reshade or anything. We're going to play the game as is. And if I get the stutters and crashes and bad performance, we'll get some of those INI configuration tweaks and stuff, and we'll be able to make it work. And so that's my plan. That's what will be happening. Meanwhile, I'll drip feed out the last 3 Zeus episodes. I mean, they've been really drip fed, but I'll drip feed those out so that the other LP I'm working on can come out seamlessly once it's finished. And that'll be April. So it should be cool. And it'll be right here. I'll do a premiere for it, actually. A premiere. I said that very oddly, didn't I? Oh, I'm really nervous about hitting the elite, because if it lands at the wrong time, you're going to miss when he does the weird jump thing. Is this supposed to be the boss that guards the honeycombs? Or whatever they're going to be? Stumps, honeycombs, whatever the World 3 thing's going to be. Because we haven't seen that yet, have we? It's weird, I'd be expecting him to divide each time that animation happens as well, like split in half. I can imagine that would be quite cool. There'd be a bunch of them around, but yeah. At what time? Well, exactly, I don't know. I mean, the premiere will show. For people who don't know exactly when it will be, I do advise you to go into the Spud Discord. Back around Path of Exile, I set up an announcement channel in there. You can right-click it and follow, and it will give you good, proper notifications whenever I go live, because I post in that every time. It'll even notify you within your other Discords. So it's a very good way of knowing when I'm live. You'll just see it. It's called the Live Announcements channel. It's up at the top. What I'll probably do is make a dedicated channel for it as well. Just as I made a Path of Exile channel, I'll make an Oblivion one. I'm not going to delete the PoE channel in there, by the way, because people are still using it. And PoE had a big update. Actually, multiple big updates. And I like the idea of at some point in the next 6 months going back to it. I mean, if people will watch and enjoy, and if we get a couple of donations or anything. Speaking of which, members. Did we get any members or anything today? I think earlier there might have been a notification, but it seems to have gone for some reason. So, you did Drewbert once, mostly for the dialogue flag on each event. WP, we promise not to troll you about being muted or offline. I'm so sad about that. But it's alright. The first half an hour of it today was I was explaining all the Guild Wars 1 stuff while in Guild Wars 2, when I should have been in Guild Wars 1 talking about it. So it's better. It's good that half an hour got lost, because what I've ended up doing was a bit more coherent. It was a bit better. The footage was better. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. That's Guild Wars, probably for a little while, as far as contents from me. We've got 40 days until the next patch, so over a month. If there is big stuff happening, I'll let you know, and you know, I'll still be playing a little bit, but we'll be looking at some other stuff, starting with Oblivion tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely evening, and if I missed your message, if there's anything you want to talk about, you can catch me over in Discord. Take care now, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. You're keeping your fingers crossed for a smooth technical experience for me? Thank you. I got my fingers crossed too. Right, let's see how broken the outro is here.